Alright, back with Group E winners finals here. It's gonna be Julia versus cRoSs. And because it is the final game, or the final winners finals, it's gonna be Apocalypse on map 1.
Apocalypse on map 1. ZVZ. What are your thoughts on Apocalypse, ZVZ, vOddy?
You know, a lot of people would say, who cares about the map, it's ZVZ. But it actually matters in this case, because you know, the same reason drops are good, mutas going in to kill all your drones is pretty good on this map. Like, you know, say, you know, for example, if you're at the right spot and your opponent is at the 12 o'clock top spot, you can just kind of fly into the main and kill off the drones. And a lot of games actually end that way, you know? Exactly.
You know, bases where the opponent's main facing closer to your, you know, main or natural, it's considered a little bit of an advantage for sure. You almost expect it. Like whereas if you're in the opposite position, you kind of need to like maneuver around the map, and it can be a little scarier to try to defend. Also, first scout on 3-player maps, as you know, first scout is just so strong in this matchup, and actually just in most matchups in general, so no exception here for ZVZ. But yeah, that being said, this should be a fun one, folks. It's going to be cRoSs facing off against Julia here, ZVZ, game 1 on Apocalypse. And spawning bottom left as the blue Zerg from North America, it is cRoSs.
And his opponent on the right is Julia as the red Zerg. Now, in these positions, Julia is the one with the exposed main base that we're talking about. So that might come to play.
He's also the one with the advantage for quick scout, though. He will get the first Overlord scout off. Pretty big in this scenario.
Indeed, and both players choosing to scout in the direction of the enemy potential natural expansion, which is common to do because you get there faster and you get more potential information faster instead of going for the main. And yes, you were saying Julia does have that scouting advantage, which is going to be good. We're going to have to keep an eye out for the build orders now. Are they going to make an Overlord or not?
Yeah, this is a map where there is no ramp leading from natural to main, so, you know, the threat of quick speedling timings is maybe a little more real on this map than it would be on a map with like a kind of a closed off ramp. A little easier to defend, so I feel like you see a lot more 12 pool openers, like 12 pool hatchet at natural, and yeah, we're actually seeing both players doing something pretty similar.
Yeah,
I think this was an 11 pool from cRoSs, but yeah, pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So we should see gas from both players. Yeah, cRoSs taking his gas. Julia, yeah, doing it as well. So mirrored builds almost so far.
Yep, very well done, as expected. So what that means here is, given Julia's positioning and his quick scout, he should be able to see that both players have identical build orders, and he should be allowed to get a 1-drone advantage. It's too greedy to do anything other than that, but seeing this, Julia could make a drone right here. Yep, and we do see him do it. And that is... oh, even 2. Wow.
Wow. Now, if cRoSs wants to sneak in drones, that's a risk, because, as you were saying, he doesn't have the scouting information. So for him to do it, it would be a risk. For Julia to do 1 would not be. For him to do 2 is a bit of a risk, but, I mean, he can do it because he's got the scouting advantage, of course, as you were saying.
Yeah, exactly. There is, you know, if he gets too greedy with it, he could find himself in kind of a rough situation to defend any kind of counter ling timing. But we'll have to wait and see here. 2 lings out now for Julia.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about what happens if cRoSs just makes lings, checks the front with like a vibe check, and sees that the vibe is bad and just kills him. Because there could be like a pre-sunken timing, you know, and maybe you don't even want to make a sunken, because if you make a sunken at this point this early, you're really committing to a turtle style, you know.
It is possible, but at the same time, I mean, drone advantages ZVZ are massive. If you let 2 drones mine for too long, it can really be the death of you, ZVZ. And actually, we are seeing a counter timing here from cRoSs, so the intention, you know, is to attack here. from cRoSs. This could get scary. We're even seeing Julia react with a couple quick drones being sent to the natural. I wasn't sure if that was going to be a sunken or not, but looks like he's just kind of placing them.
Yeah, they're just battle drones, apparently. But here we go with the attack. cRoSs coming in, wants to equalize here. I think he probably knows what's happening, seeing such few links from the opponent. Maybe he even countered the drones at the base. So here we go, first attack coming in. And even though he's not getting much done here, he's denying mining time with his drones. And eventually he might get this hatchery, so it will force Julia to come out. And Julia does come out right now, having the defender's advantage. But reinforcements also arrive from cRoSs, so now he's back to being dominant.
Still, 2 lings being taken out here from cRoSs. If I had to pick an advantage, I would say Julia ahead here. Oh, man. He got kind of sucked in there a little bit. Actually, somehow, Julia coming out behind on this one? Oh, man. Yeah, cRoSs just smelled blood, I guess. 1 drone going down. Oh, Zerglings just get surrounded in time there from cRoSs, and suddenly things starting to spiral out of control here.
Yeah,
from
for
Julia.
sure. And Julia didn't even start a Spire. Okay, now it does it immediately. We're feeling the pressure here with the non-stop aggression.
Yeah, only 7 drones mining in the main mineral line. Actually, that's for both players. So it's a little more even than I thought.
Yeah,
cRoSs
really getting back in the game.
Yeah, slight supply advantage here for cRoSs. Julia's got to watch out, because if he gets caught out in the map, I mean, could be very easy here. And as we can see, cRoSs has quite a few Zerglings in the center of the map.
Maybe try to set up some potential counterattacks. Like if Julia ever moves out, 2 lings come into the main again, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing with these 2 lings. I think you're right. Because now, like, what's Julia going to do? He's got the later Spire, which you never really want to have, ZVZ. Okay, cRoSs scouting out, seeing Zergling positioning here. Ooh, couple lings getting torn down here.
Okay, Julia trying to do the same thing here, but only 1 ling gets in. Will it do any damage? Probably not, because another ling is on the case.
Yeah, Spire is down. This is looking a little... I don't know, this is looking a little dicey.
Yeah, so cRoSs already starting his air units right now. I have to imagine Mutalisks and Scourge. Julia still really hasn't. Julia is control blocked, by the way. Floating on minerals, so forgetting to make an Overlord due to all this pressure he's been under.
cRoSs started to back up. Has his first Muta out, starting to try to tear down an Overlord of Julia. And Julia, full Scourge. This looks like a timing here from Julia. Usually when you see this many Scourge, you're going for like a big ling Scourge timing.
Yeah, it's looking like it, but he doesn't have the Zerling advantage on the ground, so I don't know if that's gonna work. Okay, getting the Mutalisk, though, is good.
That's big. Yeah, you never want that to happen.
So now cRoSs is also control blocked, or I shouldn't say also, because Julia really isn't anymore. Overlord is finishing, so Zerling Doom charge coming in here, but the Mutalisks in the air will ensure the eventual victory for cRoSs here.
I'm surprised we're not seeing more Scourge jump on top of these lings.
Yeah, I wonder where they are. I'm not sure what happened to those, because he had more, for sure. Maybe he killed the Overlords with them. That might have been what he did.
He did kill 1, but yeah, maybe he did kill 2 or something.
I think that's what happened, yeah.
Gonna sneak into the main here of Julia.
Julia poking on the front still, but being met by an impenetrable wall of blue Zerglings right there. Backed up by Mutalisks, of course. Going for the run by, okay. This is risky because he's got to do damage here since these are dead lings walking.
Yeah,
no damage so far.
Big. Yeah, nothing really being done. Zerglings of cRoSs just kind of staying at the natural too. I'm surprised he's not trying to use them to clean this up a little faster. Either way, looks like no drone's going to be killed.
Okay, so now with this massive ling advantage he has, probably he should counterattack, I'm thinking?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Or at least threaten a counterattack with lings, you know?
5 mutas of Julia coming in. Yeah, cRoSs needs to. He needs to consolidate all these lings and hit some kind of counter pressure.
Yeah, I mean, if you do that, then it's like, if Julia attacks you, you punish with a counterattack. But if he doesn't, you keep yourself safe. And we actually see Julia with a slight Mutalisk advantage, so you might need that safety. Oh! One Scourge lands.
Scourge connect. Yeah, that hurts. And yeah, Julia sees this coming, so he...
Okay, he can threaten the multi-pronged attack, though, because he can threaten the front and the back, where the Muta stay here. Okay, never mind, he's just going to go for it. So it's going to go down to Micro now. Can the Scourge land? Decent Micro from Julia. Might come down one Scourge. Taking some hits, but not losing any meters yet.
Plenty of Zerglings, though, from cRoSs, getting inside the main.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
This could do some significant eco
Gonna
damage.
go for the
Actually,
Spire, okay.
Whoa, a little
That's
green.
high risk. I think maybe going for some drones. Okay, he's gonna get the natural though, at least. Going for those multi-pronged attacks I was talking about. So getting this hatchery is also a big play, because now all he's gotta do is survive and he will eventually win.
Yeah, he's gotta hang on here for sure.
So of course Julia is gonna counterattack right now, I have to imagine. So can he hold on is the question here. How good is the micro?
Oh, he's got 4 Scourge as well. I mean, Julia seems like he's ahead in everything at this point.
Yeah, coming in here, wants to use his army advantage because he no longer has even production, of course. Well, one Scourge kind of lands. We still have blue Scourge though for cRoSs. Decent mic from Julia, a few Scourge landing, and I think he's done it, man.
There are some counterlings inside the main. Oh, at the natural actually, for cRoSs as well, and somehow, wow! I actually can't believe he held that there. That was very well done from cRoSs. cRoSs gonna take a quick game 1 against Julia there. Man, that was some pretty textbook ZVZ. Things were looking, you know, very good for Julia early on, especially with the couple drone advantage. It was a nice hold against the counter ling timing that you'd expect from 12 pool expand. But yeah, at the end of the day, cRoSs's control just too strong.
Yeah, and his tactical decisions too.
Yep.
So yeah, we're gonna have a map ban now, right? From okay, so cRoSs is gonna ban a map and Julia's gonna pick one. That's how it's gonna go.
Yep. You know, things don't really deviate too much ZVZ, so I wouldn't expect any special, you know, specially planned builds for
except
ZV here or something
on
like
some
that.
maps where you can make a hatch in your main and mine gas from your nats. That's a thing. Where the map matters.
Yeah. The 2v2 build finally started, made his way into main stage play for 1v1. It's kind of funny. But yeah, that does happen on some maps.
Probably like
if you
Invader,
get the right,
maybe you could do that.
Yeah, I think Invader you could do that. But we'll have to wait and see what these players choose here. Looking like it's off to a good start here for cRoSs going into this one. I could tell you from you know, first-hand experience, his ZVZ is quite strong. So
yeah, that looked really good, man. That was pretty scary.
Yeah, and I mean from a deficit too, right? It's not he had Julia got better scouting off with that first scout overlord, was able to gain an advantage early on with the extra drones, and it still didn't seem to matter. cRoSs is such a strong Zerg from Canada. So yeah, still waiting while both these folks end up deciding map for game number 2 here. But we'll have to wait and see what they choose. Alright, folks, it looks like it's going to be Neo Dark Origin, 2-player map, maybe one that, you know, we're a little more used to. There's going to be no potential of getting the last scout versus first scout, so probably a good call here from both players. And yeah, we are ready, folks. Let's jump into game number 2. It's going to be cRoSs facing off against Julia.
Alright, so we got cRoSs at the top here as the blue Zerg on the Neo Dark Origin.
And spawning bottom right, as the red Zerg, we have Julia.
Now this is a plausible map for in-base hatch Expo gas. There are worse maps for it. I don't think we're gonna see that though, but somebody like, well actually cRoSs was playing on standard styles earlier, so you know, he could go for it, I suppose.
Yeah, he could, you know, just to throw Julia off, you know, show a standard build and then go for something a little unique in game 2 with your advantage. Not a bad play sometimes. But
looks like we're seeing a 9 pool or 9 something from Julia, whereas cRoSs went ahead and made that overlord, so already some deviation coming in.
Likely a pool. 9 hatch is not nearly as popular or as good, really, ZVZ. You basically have one massive all-in ling timing and other than that, there's not really much else you could do with it. So, but yeah, it's going to be cRoSs actually going for, if this is a 12 pool, it would be a big advantage here for him going into this one. Meanwhile, we have that gas down here for Julia. It is, in fact, 9 pool. Yeah, it is.
So, obviously the advantage for cRoSs here is he's going to have more production, maybe even an expansion if he chooses to do that. What Julia's going to have is faster Mutalisks, so that's what he's going to have to go for and use somehow.
Could be Speedling, right? Could be.
Just it could be speed first, in which case, well, I mean, that's not really good at anything, is it? Against
I mean, get a lot of Zerglings and get them over there quick and kill them sometimes. But yeah, you're right. There's no advantage to your tech for sure by going 9 pool speed.
Okay, so cRoSs going for that expansion, and this creates like a little bit of an opportunity for a 9 pool lair. We're gonna see if he goes speed or lair. It's very important. Okay, he goes for lair, which I think is good for him. It creates an opportunity when you have the Mutalisk timing advantage. You can't really make spores. Like sometimes people will actually make spores when they expand, but it's difficult when you're expanding like this. That's why some people actually go in base macro hatch, you know. So yeah, I think this is playable for both players. Like a lot of people would say that 12 pool is slightly favored, but you should not underestimate the earlier tech. And we actually have a metabolic boost, Link speed from cRoSs. Not even going for the lair. So that to me says he's going to go for like a spore sunken turtle style with the expansion.
Yeah, which I think could be quite strong. Oh no, cRoSs getting caught out here. There we go. 6 Lings finally showing up, but actually Julia with the better engage. Wow. This is already looking like a nightmare here for cRoSs.
That was 6 versus 6, but Julia just had better micro, better positioning, and going to take that fight. And now isolating the 2 units, divide and conquer here. Can he get a drone even? No.
The rallying Zerglings kind of starting to come in here. But yeah, we have some lost mining for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And of course the Spire to really hammer in that early tech advantage. Of course, there's going to be a Link counterattack when the second hatchery kicks in and cRoSs gets more Links. Which is going to be painful for Julia because he's going to have to make a sunken when he already has a weak economy, right?
It should be expected though. Every Zerg knows about the, the potential counter timing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Going for lair, okay. So I mean, this is interesting because he's never gonna get Mutas in time. So
it puts counter pressure on the Zerg. It is actually pretty standard to at least start the lair and then keep 1 drone on gas.
Yeah. He's got a mineral bank, so he's gonna have to go for partial spore coverage later.
Yeah, you could definitely still do this and afford spores. So. That being said, though, I mean, the Spire timing from Julia is very quick. We're seeing it's halfway complete here. We're likely going to need to see drone count rise here from cRoSs, and I'm very surprised we're not seeing any counter Ling timings out of cRoSs as well. I guess he's just afraid of a potential slow Ling run by that he doesn't want to lose any units to.
Well, I think maybe he's thinking that, like, all right, I cost the sunken, that's enough. I'm just gonna play from here. Like sometimes people try to go in and suicide on drones or even all in take out the Spire. That's a play some people go for. But cRoSs not choosing that. Instead, probably I have to imagine these are mass drones coming out since he's going for the spore follow-up, right?
Yep, always a strong play. It's actually a preference of mine, ZVZ. I like this. Just get your natural down quicker than your opponent. Hold with spore, go from there. cRoSs actually looks like he's very comfortable. Like he is not afraid at all. Because I mean, look how fast he's mining that gas at the main once again. He's got 3 drones on it, meaning like he just wants to race to his own Spire tech and kind of go from there.
Yeah,
so he does lose an Overlord.
Yeah, he used that Overlord though on purpose to buy time because it's like what Terrans do when the Dragoon is chasing the SCV, you don't make the bunker early, He was doing that with spore colonies. Thinking that I can't save the Overlord anyway, let me just use it this way. And getting those spores just in time.
Yeah, just barely in time. Still though, cRoSs drone count going up and up. And we see the Mutas jumping in here, already trying to target down the first drone, but nice pull timing.
Yeah.
And it is just in time here from cRoSs. cRoSs off to a very good start.
So at this point, okay. Yeah, that's actually a big deal. Getting those links out would have been pretty sweet, because you can threaten a counterattack on the expansion attempt. Or if Julia goes to do... Okay, hold that thought, because there's harassment coming in here. 1 drone, 2 drones. Just suiciding on the drones. 3. Massive damage, actually.
Yeah, that's big.
One thing you can do... Oh, again? Wow, cleaning it out, dude. That's because there's only 1 spore there, as opposed to the 2 in the main. That lets you do stuff like that.
Yeah, he needed to pull those drones a little faster, it looks like. And with that, it's going to actually be Julia with a massive advantage here.
Yeah, that was some great damage right there. I was about to say that sometimes what people go for in this situation is, because there's no Sunken, there's only like Spore, you use like combined arms with Mutalisks and Lings to basically force the enemy Lings out of position, and then you do a run-by with your own Lings. But Julia didn't even need to do that, just pure Mutalisks to get the job done.
Julia has 3 more Mutalisks on the way. We're not really seeing a very high drone count out of cRoSs, despite having this faster natural hatchery. He's just not able to really get the return he needs with it.
Yeah, and now Julia points to take his own expansion, but of course with a massive Mutalisk advantage. So yeah, that harassment really did way too much damage. I don't think it should have been allowed to do that much.
Yeah, cRoSs likely just needed to pull the drones a little bit faster. Still, we do have Julia with a natural hatchery down. cRoSs does have the advantage of having a Spire finally. First couple of mutas popping out for him, but
yeah,
loses yet another drone at that natural mineral
and
line.
his second extractor will be faster. So he's gonna have a Scourge advantage. I mean, he's behind on Mutalisks for now, so he's got to catch up. And the question is it faster enough than Julia's for him to not only catch up but get ahead, or will Julia actually be ahead? Because it's like the tortoise on the hare right here, basically.
I think he's definitely got the advantage here. I think Julia has a big lead. It's kind of my read
even
on the
continuing
game.
to harass. Damn, dude, this is like insane. Oh, but look at the minimap. We have a counterattack from. No, he didn't do it. He didn't commit. Okay.
I think it was a good call not to. There's no way. He doesn't have enough muted to one-shot drones, so well now he does. But it, you know, he would have just inevitably got all his mutas caught.
Yeah. Like he wants to do that when Julia isn't at home, but he saw Julia left. Now, if Julia really goes in, then you can do something like that because you have spores and your opponent doesn't. But you don't actually want to sacrifice your units just to kill drones.
Another drone down. This is massive, man. I mean, Julia is just picking apart cRoSs at the moment.
Okay, I think cRoSs has to commit to one or the other. Like, if he's not going to counterattack and then absorb, you know, the base trade with the spores and kill all the drones, then he really needs to be ready with his Mutalisks. Like, he cannot allow the enemy mutas to come in. Okay, yeah, like that. Just be ready in position, return fire every time, and protect your drones. Either do that or counterattack and kill the enemy drones.
Somehow, cRoSs has a lot of mutas all of a sudden. I'm a little shocked.
He's been having that second gas for a while now, and yeah, I don't know. I can't tell who's got more mutas here, but we're... Okay, looks like cRoSs. I mean, we got the defender's advantage for him, so he probably does have more, right? Yep. GG.
Whoa! Man, amazing, because I really thought Julia kind of had it there. That was a surprising end to that series. But yeah, it looks like cRoSs just barely able to eke it out there. 2-0 over Julia. And yeah, cRoSs going to end up taking first place in Group E. With that, Julia not quite out of it yet. He will end up moving on to the loser bracket finals to face off against the winner of SuGo versus Mars for that next match. So very well done there from Julia. Really thought he had game number 2 there, but you know, stay tuned if you want to, or if you, and we'll get to see kind of him get a chance to redeem himself here. But yeah, next up, going to be our losers bracket match. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be SuGo, the North American Protoss, facing off against Mars, another dominant North American Terran. Both these players played each other countless times, you know, in practice sessions, North American events, and so forth. So, you know, this should be a pretty exciting one, honestly. And yeah, folks, with that, stay tuned. We're going to go to a quick break here before we get to our losers bracket match. But yeah, we will be back in just a few minutes here with SuGo versus Mars. What's up, folks? Welcome back to BSL17 Group E. We are down to the loser bracket side of this group. And yeah, first loser bracket match of the day going to be the North American Terran Mars facing off against SuGo in what should be a pretty epic matchup. Looks like map 1 going to be Apocalypse here. Good map for TVP in my opinion. vOddy, what are you thinking going into this matchup?
Well, a lot of these maps really require you to, especially as Terran in this matchup, have a plan. Like, you gotta be ready. So I hope that Mars has that planned out. Like, for example, if we ever end up playing on Dark Origin, right? Like, you really gotta have that. Even this map, Apocalypse, it's pretty. You know, it's got its own style where like Reaver drops are mega strong on it. So maybe you go Wraiths. You know, could be a solution to that, for example.
Because the like low ground main, like how accessible it is to drops, maybe you just get that Wraith early on. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, like you can't really make a turret ring, and then so, you know, he comes in at the back with the drop, and then when you finally walk out, he can just take a little step, and then he's got the high ground when you know, want to push to your third, stuff like that. So you can use it as well as Terran though. You can. If you establish, you know, a position on the high ground, you can really push down a Protoss third base that way. So it goes both ways on this map.
Well, yeah, it should be an exciting one. Apocalypse, you know, been a staple map in this BSL17 map pool. Just a staple map in general. I think it's very well balanced, great for just about every matchup. But with this screen, folks, y'all know both our players are ready here, so let's jump into game number 1, Mars facing off against SuGo. And spawning 12 o'clock position as the red Terran from Canada, it is Mars.
And the blue Protoss down here at the right, bottom right, is SuGo. Now, you were saying this is a balanced map, and statistically so far it has been. It's only like 53 point something percent PvP, which is good, you know, that's very balanced.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can see that the main base of Mars at 12 o'clock is very exposed. That's what I was talking about with those Reavers, where you can go into the main base, threaten that, and then immediately, you know, go to defend any sort of attack or delay Terran's push either towards your base or to his third from high ground. So Reavers and Shuttles are strong on this, for sure. And that's something you have to be ready for as Terran.
I guess going into this game 1, you know, obviously we have map hacks, we know the positions. Would you give, would you say SuGo's got pretty good positions here, just given he's going to have access to that main for drops?
Well, that's a nice thing. By the way, we seem to have a 12 Nexus, and this is a good 12 Nexus match. I'll talk more about that later. But every position gives you something in this matchup as Terran. So here, yeah, like, obviously the drops are great, but you know what else is good? If Protoss takes his natural third, you can push it easily. So, you know, if you can make it up your your high ground against the Reavers, of course. But yeah, this is a good Nexus First map, because obviously the common response to Nexus First is a bunker rush. And what the bunker rush relies on is that you block reinforcements in the main with SCVs while you build a bunker, or at the very least, if they make it down, you make it so that they can't kite back into their main. But this has a very wide main entrance, so Nexus First is already just automatically a little bit stronger because of that, and we do see SuG taking advantage of that here, going for Nexus First. Now, I want to see if he's going to go for a cannon or not, you know, because that's like a thing that people started doing somewhat recently in the history of StarCraft. You guarantee that you're never going to lose to a bunker rush or an SCV rush, but you don't get as much of an advantage. And we do see a pylon at the natural, so this could be either for a shield battery or a cannon later.
Yeah, I personally like the kind of cannon forge start, and actually you called it. We are going to see a forge in the main here, and why not, right? If you're SuGo and you're getting away with a 12 next, you got to be happy. Just hang on to that. I don't believe that SuGo is someone who's afraid to, you know, play like a strong mid-late game against even a player like Mars, who himself has some, you know, pretty strong macro. You know, obviously anyone who's qualifying for these BSL events is going to have some pretty strong mechanics to work with here. So cannon does go down. Zealot going to actually get 2 great shots off on that.
Yeah, that's
SCV.
huge actually. That's really good. So Mars, of course, seeing the cannon, knows that he cannot bunker rush it, choosing to take its own expansion. And there's still some play he could do here after doing this. Like, maybe not on this map. It's not the best because you don't have the most position. But like one thing I've been doing, for example, against even Korean and foreign, I'm not going to name drop it, but like S-rank players, okay, so they're okay at the game, is because the opponent goes fast forged, he's got late tech, which means you can actually establish a containment with bunkers and siege tanks, and then you actually get range on the bunker, so you can shoot back. And because his tech is late, you can get siege tanks and ranged marine bunkers before he has a reaver, and then that's like bunkers are actually disgustingly strong if Protoss has to attack into them, which of course he has to if you have a containment on. This is like an okay map for it, but not the best.
My only thoughts are like, you know, like the marine range, although it is great and it's in a lot of cases like necessary, it's not really going to carry over into, you know, it's basically a wasted 150 gas at some point that could be a tank or siege mode or something else.
Well, yeah, unless you have bunkers that he has to attack into. That's the one exception, because that's when they're actually really strong. Like bunkers with okay, if he has to attack you frontally and he can't walk around you, marine tank with bunkers is like actually the best thing ever. Like, it's insane. You have to see it to believe it. It's insanely good. Because bunkers are so
I see
beefy.
it every ZVT.
Yeah, right? I mean, you play Zerg, so you know what I'm talking about.
It's so good. No, for sure.
It actually blocks some Protoss too if you get the containment. But here we're just going to see some mines. And so SuGo really is getting away with this, so to speak. What is that, though? What is that building right there? Was that a... Oh, it's a gateway. I thought it was a Stargate. I was like, wait. Okay.
Just going really fast carrier or something off Robo. One gate, one Robo, one starport carrier.
Okay. So Mars is he's capitalizing on this in his own way, really, because, like, think about this. Late tech means late observer, which means he puts up some mines and he knows he's safe and he knows there's no third base. So what do we have? Turbo fast +1 for an armory. And this is like a decent way to capitalize on this. It really is. So I don't think he's behind at all, really, despite it being 12 Nexus. That's the thing about Forge Nexus first. It's not the same thing. It's not your grandpa's Nexus first. You know, it's very different.
Okay. Not your grandpa's Nexus first. I like that. Well, I was beginning to start getting worried. You know, one thing, vOddy, we mentioned at the start of this one was how vulnerable the main's going to be for Mars here for any kind of drop play, but we finally do see an eBay going down inside Mars's main, so hopefully get some turrets here. I was kind of expecting a Reaver opener, just given the map here from SuGo, but I don't think we've seen a Robo support bay quite yet.
Yeah, you can still go... Going Observer into Reaver is a good play. And he could still go for that. I think, honestly, maybe he should. It's just... If you don't do that, it just gives so much freedom to Terran to not be afraid of that. Oh my days, you seeing this? Oh.
That was fast, man. That was a fast snipe. He was looking for that probe. Yeah, very well done there from Mars. Oh, but actually gonna end up losing a couple of those vultures, and with that map control, Nexus already immediately down here from SuGo.
Also, this is not a Reaver, this is just like an attack on the front. Interesting. So he might be hoping that Terran spreads his units out, half in the main, half in the natural, and then he sends everything to the natural, right? That might be like what the plan is here, with that Bulldog incoming.
I'm a little surprised because I don't think really Mars has done anything to indicate he would be weak at this point. And if anything, SuGo's third base is very much on time and in a strong position.
Yeah,
like,
but he's using the map. He's like saying, everybody expects Reavers on this map, so I'm gonna attack on the front. And it's working a little bit. Look at how much is in the main. So he might actually get some tanks here on the nat.
Yeah,
if he goes for it, possibly. Although we're getting to the point where there are enough tanks to draw a line so that each part of the line can protect its neighbors, right? And that makes it so that it's not really that strong to, you know, concentrate your force in one point. But here we go, it's gonna go for it right now.
2 mines being cleared, that was it. That's all the buffer he's got, but actually SuGo opting to just back up. You know, probably not a bad call.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked, that was a bit too late. So I don't know why he made a shuttle with Zealots, like... It's okay, I guess, like, he can afford it. It's just not a very impactful play, but this third base, though, is impactful, for sure. Now we might see like a push here. I mean, I don't know. We're gonna see a choice soon here. We're either gonna see more factories, and he's gonna push, and then if he takes the high ground where that mine is on the minimap, he can actually slow push to the third from there, as I was saying. Or he's gonna try to take his third base if we don't see extra factories. We'll see a starport and a command center instead. So that's the choice we're looking for right now.
Despite the 12 necks, we're seeing supplies pretty even. I'm personally a little shocked by that. And I can't even say, like, I don't think SuGo's like done anything really to misstep too much, unless maybe there's just been some probe rounds missing or something, but
no, this is
Mars
what you would
doing a great
expect. This fast storm, though, is a little bit unusual, and a storm drop is, of course, a way to capitalize on the droppable nature. Oh my days, what is this? Okay, we got some mine ambushing going on. Wow, that was
I can't
close,
believe
but
none of those mines went
yeah, I
off
know.
on a single goon there. I thought he
Oh,
was
he's gotta leave again. He can't be bleeding vultures like this. Okay,
Yeah,
so
nope.
this was... Oh, look at that mine! Oh,
That was a
okay,
great
so
mine.
all that was, it was a way to get him to be allowed to push. And he's killing everything here! This push might end the game.
Oh yeah, this is looking very scary here for SuGo. Mars doing a great job leapfrogging these tanks as he moves forward and, you know, taking a third simultaneously here. This is 4 factories, so this can get very scary unless SuGo gets on top of this control here very quickly.
Okay, so looks like he's not gonna push hard. He's just gonna establish a forward, or I don't know. He might be going for it, but he's gotta watch out for these storms if he's gonna push hard like this.
He sees the units on the high ground, so he knows he's pushing up into high ground against
Building turrets
SuGo.
in the middle now. Okay, this is his position. I agree with pushing this far and no further. It's actually so helpful to have a position like this as Terran. Like, it might look like it doesn't do anything because Protoss doesn't have to run into it. So what does it matter, right? He's never actually gonna go. The thing is, sniping some units here. Okay.
Yeah, he got a Templar there. That's big.
Yeah, very nice. That's a good pickoff. But when you have this position, he should actually set his rally point to that right now. Just do F4, F2 or something and click. But what this does is it gives you so much maneuverability where Protoss, to keep up with your harassment and your threats of expansion types, has to take the long way around. It just like makes vulture terrorism insane, and if he ever walks around to deal with it, then you can actually push just a tiny step to his high ground, and that's a game-winning move right there, because then you get his third base, and you contain him.
One thing that does look a little vulnerable here would be Mars's main. He's scouted, shuttle. He's scouted storm tech. He's got to assume some kind of drop could be possible. What is this tank up there?
Is this on purpose?
Yeah, I think it's on purpose, man. It's
okay.
Here
we go.
Some probes, it'll be worth it.
How many probes?
Boom! Take
one
that.
Attack? One probe.
Boom!
Oh, I only get one. Oh, this is why it's like multi-pronged harassment. Okay, so while Protoss deals with this, he's actually losing the bottom base. And see, that's what I mean. This sort of vulture harassment he's doing down here, it gets way stronger by sitting in the middle of the map like that. It just does.
Anytime you move a significant amount of vultures, though, there's less buffer for the remaining siege tanks. You know, there's a chance here that the middle gets overrun in this pit in the center.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that you have mines. And we do have a decent amount of mines. I would like to see a little bit more, to be honest.
I feel like he's gonna go.
Okay, so more units coming in here, so he wants to lay every mine here. Now look at the potential here. Think of this like a TBT. If he draws a line there, he's got 66% of the map, dude. And eventually Protoss will have to run into this. Now, the solution to that SuGo has chosen is to go for Arbiters. So eventually there's going to be a recall in the main. And he will have to deal with that eventually. I think he just scanned it right there, though, so that's good.
Yeah, he did. Great scan timing from Mars. I feel like he's about to go. Maybe I'm way off on this, but we're seeing Dragoons moving forward slowly, trying to pick off some of these buffering mines so he can get into the meat of this army, which is those siege tanks. And man, there's a lot of tanks here from Mars.
Yeah, and a lot of mines. It's like you're not attacking into that and coming out alive. It's just not a good idea. With the mines too, and the depots even. And the fourth base has just been harassed to death. It's not even... Okay, he's taken like a 1 o'clock or whatever that is instead right now. Finally. But that's late, dude.
Yeah, it is a little late. It definitely feels like... Oh, here we go! Lots of Zealots and Dragoons streaming in here. Depot's doing a great job blocking. Ob's going down, but the storms are starting to tear this siege tank line apart, and it It looks like SuGo's done it.
Yeah, we needed to have more mines there. You really have to lay every single mine, and he was definitely floating on mines right there. So if he had had no more mines there, then I think that would have been a different story.
With that, tank count has been fully reset. Oh no, the Templar lost.
Okay, but he has mines here, interestingly, because he was worried about like a counterattack here, so he can actually hold us. If he lays, yeah, exactly, it's fine. So at least he can establish a defensive position that protects his third, but he's no longer in control of the game that he used to be. Like if he had kept that line there, if you keep that all game, you will eventually win if you don't die to like a recall or something. He no longer has that going on for him. But he at least established a position that prevents his third from dying, and that really lets him take a fourth, which I think is what he's going to go for here.
It's funny, supplies are even, but it looks like SuGo's army is just massive compared to Mars, so I wonder if maybe SuGo's a little low on probe count or something.
Yeah, he might be playing a low probe style, possibly. We don't have massive saturation. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, we're getting a look at
dropship going.
But here comes the drop he made earlier. So we're gonna see what's in this. Vultures, only vultures. Okay.
I like it, especially against like heavy zealot.
Oh no!
Here. Oh, great job there from SuGo, using that mine.
Getting his Templar though, if he can, he doesn't. So not a very impactful drop, unfortunately. One Templar, okay, that's pretty good.
That's something. Trading gas for minerals, you always take that.
Okay, but yeah, we're entering like a new phase of the game now, where unfortunately Mars doesn't have the position he earned himself earlier. But yeah, exactly, taking a fourth. That's what I was about to say. He has to do that. So he really has to prevent recalls in his main, which is difficult because of how open and droppable the main is. Look at that. That's insane. Like, I don't think you can even EMP that. I think you need like to leave 4 tanks there with mines everywhere, unfortunately.
I think you're right. And we're not seeing that though. And I mean, this Arbiter's been out for quite some time. We see that energy level slowly ticking to the 150 necessary for a recall. So
oh, he's hunting with a vessel. I think he's got EMP. He doesn't quite get it. But yeah, if you can skirmish in the middle and EMP Arbiters, it really it gives you a lot of peace of mind because you know you can't get recalled for a while if you do that. So we can see he's holding 4 bases now, and he's keeping up. So far, so good for Terran, right? But that recall into the main is always an ever-present threat. It's a nuclear option you're afraid of.
Yeah, if Mars continues to draw this game out, he can actually get himself into a position where he can hold... Wow, did you see that?
Yeah, be huge risk right there. He's really afraid of the recall. That's why he went... I mean, I'm surprised he got away with that, really, without losing the vessel. But here comes the recall, I think.
Yep, I think he's gunning straight for the main, and there's no tanks. As you said, vOddy, maybe if there was 4 tanks and some mines placed in the center here, holding this might be an option, but it looks like Mars is about to lose a lot of his production.
Yeah, it's so difficult to deal with, because if you send 4 tanks back and he attacks in the front, it's like, you know, that's an issue. But that's what the mine is for. The mine is to, okay, he's actually going to counterattack, hold up, not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like SuGo is quite expecting this. Yeah, we're not really seeing much unit movement in the center. And although the main is looking horrible for Mars here, this massive tank force pushing out into the center just completely...
Yeah, he's winning that battle. He's not even storming, look at that.
Yeah, that was big.
Totally unprepared for that. So if he can just clean up the main, somehow, maybe, this could be the player to win.
Yeah, maybe if his rally can just kind of clean that up, he'll be fine here. But tanks and vultures moving into position here over that natural, over that third base.
I think he might be doing it, my friend. Look at this. He's got the position I was talking about. If he can fortify it, unfortunately, getting a fight before really having mines is a bit of an issue, but I think he's got enough that it's fine. Yeah, Protoss runs back. So now he's got the position where he's really cutting off 2 bases for Protoss. So all he's got to do is fortify to the south and then push to the north.
Does also have a vessel with this, so the threat of just like a couple DTs to be able to clean this up is just not going to be possible.
Cleaning up his main, yeah, exactly. He's got the vessels, so and that means he can actually snipe observers, almost like a Zerg, right? That makes the mines way stronger if you get that.
So Arbiter will be forced back, and it looks like Nex is going to fall here shortly at the third base for SuGo. He has been fully contained at this point.
Yeah, and the Vulture terrorism continues as he denies a base down here. And this is really great, but I want to see some... Okay, actually a Zealot at the same time, so game getting hectic. I want to see mines by the tanks if he's going to sit there. And I think holding this containment is a game-winning move. Oh, but he actually goes to the left where there are mines, so all the Zealots die. Almost.
Yeah, those are some big mine connections. Siege Tank's also in a great position to kind of clean this up. Vulture's coming in, trying to add some insult to injury here. But at the same time, we saw that unsiege happen, and the third Nexus was allowed to live. Kind of a questionable decision from Mars here, in my opinion.
Well, as long as he doesn't get probes get there, I guess it doesn't really matter. But he needs to take out some of these bases. Yeah, I agree. You know, going for one right now is good. These Zealot counterattacks are draining a lot of APM, I think, from Mars, making it very difficult for him to keep up right now. He's got this position, which is great, but he's got to, one, fortify it with mines, like every single mine you have, I'm talking top priority. Secondly, destroy the bases behind it, which he is getting started at. He's getting one base with Vultures, but I really want to see him take out the 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock bases as well.
Look at those mines!
Mine drags?
Oh, huge mine drag into the mineral line there.
Yeah, some decent damage actually being done here by these mine drags. Gonna get cleaned up eventually though, and with these units, I mean, this is a Terran ahead in supply, even like, he can afford to do this now. He can afford to send like 12 Vultures just to take out a base. But he's got to reinforce this frontal position, and again, I want to see him take out those bases at the top right.
Yeah, this is a dead base for sure. You know, maybe if he makes a couple DTs or something like that, this will end up being able to be saved, but still, SuGo under threat from Mars here. This massive Arbiter force coming in here.
Okay, yeah, good EMP on a Templar and Arbiter.
Huge stasis, or EMP.
Yeah, huge anti-stasis right there. And again, the mine's only on the left side, but some units going there, so some value being gained, but the containment has been broken. However, I do believe Terran is still ahead. If he acts quickly, he's got to be decisive though. He cannot let these bases go unchecked.
Yeah, this is 7 tanks. This is very valuable for Mars here. I think he's got to time it right, and he's got to retake this position, which it looks like that's his goal. He's reconsolidating all of his huge EMP, massive EMP, man. The EMPs have been on point this game. And yeah, it looks like Mars is going to end up retaking this position.
Yeah, a few tanks starting to come out of stasis now. One more stasis goes down, but that's fine, really. You're like happy to see that, because it means there's no recall coming later at this point, as Terran.
SuGo trying these small little counterattacks just to buy time, try to distract, do something at this point, which is probably the right call. But it looks like Mars is starting to just bear down on this natural.
Yeah, just going for the main. Of course, the production is there, so if you take that out, you will win. There's no really... I mean, he can refugee toss and make gateways here, but I'm not really convinced of that. So I think going for the main is an acceptable option, for sure.
Yeah, nice little counter here, once again, with these Dragoons, but yeah, Mars is just going to be able to eventually clean this up. Supplies now even between these two, which means our Terran player Mars slowly starting to eke out an advantage.
It's a little scary that all the bases are mining, so we have 3 mining bases basically for Protoss. Oh, but we do see an army going to take out the bottom. So Mars, it seems like he's ignoring the top right bases in favor of like setting up positions and just taking this base out, which I suppose is a fair enough play. But the bottom base, you know, okay, sending some tanks there as well. Zealot's running into mines.
Yeah, big mine connects. With this many tanks, this should be a dead base, I think.
Yeah, it should. It's just got to be on top with scans against ETs, or maybe even sending a vessel there to have AFK detection could be good.
SuGo is allowed to break out here a little bit, though.
He is, but in situations like these, mines become insanely strong because you can't actually make sure you always have Dragoons and Templar. I mean, Dragoons and Observers with your army. So if Mars takes the APM to just spam mines everywhere, it's like a thing happens where, because you have the initiative and Protoss is always chasing you, he will chase you into mines. Because you go somewhere, put mines behind yourself, and he always ends up losing units to it in situations like these.
Yeah, it looks like SuGo trying to consolidate his forces and save one of these lower bases. At least he's still mining with the 2 bases top right. That may give him a shot at, you know, maybe getting some Miracle Storms off, or producing a couple more Arbiters to try to hold and apply some counter damage here. But yeah, actually, Mars starting to group up yet another army here in the center of the map, and will likely be pushing for the win here.
Indeed, and that base was technically saved, but there are no probes on it, and it's so harassable, like you really can't afford. He is sending probes there, because he has to, but you know, that is not very convincing. A few vultures could easily run by there and continue the terrorism. But at this point, Mars isn't really doing that. He's taking everything he has and going for the knockout move once again.
Yep, just continuing that pressure that has been
Indeed.
working out so well for him here. Oh, we do? Yeah.
Actually whiffs, interestingly enough. Goes for the Templar instead of the Arbiter, so that's pretty good. Wise decision, actually, to go for the Templar instead of the Arbiters, because if you only have Arbiters, then it's like, well, I'll just get my units back later. I don't really care. He's got to be careful. Yeah, and he's walling it off with pylons now, so this is turning into a little bit of a desperate push for Terran. He needs to get something happening here.
It is so many tanks, though. It's likely something's going to happen. Oh, maybe a recall on the main. I think not a bad option, given the circumstances.
Yeah, indeed. It's a good option for sure. You know, this is...
Oh!
EMP, though. Okay. So that's going to help with cleaning it up. I think he's probably got some units in the natural, right? Vultures. I'm not sure if he's got any tanks, so yeah, a few tanks coming in. He will be able to clean this up, and at this time he's going back and not counterattacking. That's great for Protoss.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he fully pulled back here just for this recall. He would have killed 2 bases, and I think it... Oh my gosh, he's going to lose every vessel for it, too.
Yeah. He was
Big
not ready
pickups
for that.
here from SuGo.
You know, one reason I think playing for the top right bases instead of the other ones, and then sitting there with the containment mines, like, is good, is that, of course, it's always good to contain the Protoss, so he has to run into mines to get out of his main. But it's also good because it prevents recalls. It makes recalls easier to defend when you're already there. All of a sudden, you don't have an exposed main anymore, and stuff like this doesn't become an issue.
Man, this has been so big. I feel like SuGo kind of coming back a little bit, just because he's been allowed to mine so many bases. Now suddenly,
it's a one-base
mining
versus 3-base Protoss, so that's a huge yikes. Okay, 2-base Protoss, fair enough.
Yeah, it's kind of do or die time here for Mars. He's gotta get something done with this next timing.
Another recall is on the way. There's just too much vessel energy. I mean, Arbiter energy at this point. He's ready for it a little bit, so he's probably hoping at this point that SuGo goes ahead with the recall, but he actually shouldn't. He should threaten it, but not actually do it right now.
Yeah, there's too much Terran in position here.
And then just expand while threatening it, and then go...
He's gonna recall the main. Oh,
yeah,
man.
threaten to the
SuGo's
left, actually go to the right.
He's doing it, man.
Mars had some great positional tactics earlier, but I think to stop the recalls, he needed to establish a position in front of his main, you know, by air. Which he had, but then he abandoned it. He played for other places instead. Because you get so much value by doing it. Like, if you establish that position, you take out 2 bases, and from there you can contain the Protoss, basically, and you defend recalls. It's just too valuable. I think you need to do it.
Yeah, it is way too valuable here. We are seeing SuGo's remaining force still just doing so much damage inside this main, pulling Mars out of position once again, and this is going to leave mid-left vulnerable for the next recall. So we'll have to wait and see what actually happens here.
Yeah, so he can recall wherever he wishes. Looks like he's going into the main again, which I don't really understand, because the Terran is here, so okay.
Yeah, that seemed like a little bit of a
It's a
misstep.
decent fight. He's getting tanks, so it's not a bad choice, actually.
Yeah, it worked out, for sure.
A lot of people would have gone to the Lost Mining base and knocked Terran out that way instead, but... I mean, look at this, every tank, so this is... yeah, fair enough, okay. It's a valid choice.
Yeah, very valid choice. SuGo just getting incredible damage done here in the main, and GG is finally called from Mars there. SuGo with a mega comeback here in game number 1 of this series. Man, that was really well played, very back and forth. I really liked how Mars had taken map control in the center there early on. Was able to get some great trades because of it, but SuGo just kind of playing that late game PvT arbiter, right? Like just taking bases, never attacking head on, avoid.
It's a good map for it. Mars had a solution. Well, I mean, okay. He didn't... He had a solution that he could have picked, but I don't think he tactically understood or was aware in that game of what the solution was. But everything about his play was great, except his anti-arbiter play. That's when it fell apart.
Yeah, which was surprising because he started it off with so many good EMPs, right?
Yeah.
So he was definitely anticipating the arbiters and drops, etc., and handled them well for the first couple, and then it started, kind of snowballing from there. But yeah, with that, it's going to be SuGo's SuGo's ban and Mars's map choice for the second game of the series.
We have
here.
SuGo banning Invader. Now, Invader was a very PvT favored map, like a month ago even. But Terrans eventually, they have figured it out since then. So now it's pretty much balanced now. It's like 53% PvT or something. It used to be like 60%, so it was a bit of a yikes, but no longer. So at least the Korean Terrans have figured out how to play that. And we're gonna see Mars pick a map here. We're gonna see what he chooses.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. Could be something, if he wants to do some type of early mech play, maybe Circuit Breakers could be a strong one. I don't know.
Oh, is that in the pool, dude?
I think it is, yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, it's a fun one. Yeah, it's not one you're used to seeing anytime recently, but always a classic, man. CB, gotta love it. But yeah, it's like, or he could just pick something really standard too. As Mars is definitely not one to shy away from late game TVP. As expected, he was looking great in that last, in the last game. And actually, it will be retro, so 4-player map, big map. A lot of cliffs, a lot of great entrances to defend if you're Terran. So I like the choice here. And yeah, with that, both of our players are ready to go. So let's jump into game number 2 here. SuGo facing off against Mars on Retro. And spawning bottom left as the blue Terran, currently down 0-1, it is Mars.
And SuGo currently up 1-0 as the red Protoss spawning at the bottom right. So we've got horizontal, okay, and we also have a center gateway apparently, more importantly.
What do you think this is? You think this is 1 gateway? Is this 2 gateways?
It could be 2. I mean, I played this guy and he's not beyond 2 gating, so we'll see. 1 gate I think is a bit safer and overall better, but of course 2 gate has the potential to just win straight up in a way that
like
1
you
gate
can
doesn't.
Transition out of it. Wow, yeah, he's not making any more probes. This is 7
It
gate.
is 2 gate. It's gotta be, dude.
That's so funny.
7 gate? I have not seen this before.
I feel like it's been a bit, but yeah, it's been a bit for sure.
Okay, and he's making probes, so it's a 1 gate. It's just a really, really fast 1 gate. I mean, this is a really... He might have a Zealot in the base, before a Marine is there. Honestly, look at this.
Scout's top left. He realizes Mars is not there, so now he's either top right or bottom left.
I like it, though. If you're gonna do a gate, I mean, you do that gateway, man. Like...
Exactly, yeah. If you're gonna go for a proxy gate, commit. Like, full commit. You're not gonna... It's not like you're gonna hurt your eco even more. So first Zealot underway. We do have a gas in the main, unsurprisingly, from Mars. Mars going to scout out with his own first SCV. So we'll have to see what he's going for here. Looks like he's going mid-left with that SCV for some reason. It's almost like it's a TVZ or something.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what his opponent's up to, but he of course knows where he is. And of course, by the way, I should have realized it's only 1 gate, because if you make a gate at 7, there's no way you have enough money for a second one. But anyway, we got this Turbo or the Zealot coming in here. Gonna meet, basically 1 Marine. It's gonna be 1-on-1. Now, it's gonna be important where he places the factory here. You want to have the factory close to the wall here, so that you can, use the wall while defending the factory, because otherwise he's going to keep killing those SCVs as you build the factory. And he puts it a little bit far forward and then immediately sees the Zealot. I'm thinking if he had seen that in time, he would have put the factory a little bit further down. But it's still in a decent position. Could be better, but it's good enough. It's workable.
Yeah, for sure. No damage on the Marine yet. You know, factory's been slightly delayed so far. Probe coming in here, gonna jump on top of that Marine. But actually, Probe getting targeted down immediately. Wow, good reaction time.
And here comes the second Zealot. Now the micro just got 50 times harder. Can he keep up? Let's find out.
Hides on the other side of the wall. SCV goes down. Factory's still not quite done yet.
Yeah, we have a third one on the way. And I can see in the minimap that this is a cybernetics core follow-up, not an expansion follow-up. It is quite late, though, because he actually didn't take his gas very quickly. I was thinking he was going to go for a Nexus follow-up. Flanking Zealot coming in might catch some of these Marines.
Ooh,
okay, he pulls
another
back,
SCV going to go down, so at least some eco damage and delays already been done here for SuGo, which is, you know, the most of which he could kind of hope for, as long as the Marine control is as good as it is.
Yeah, this opening is great for him. He got so many goddamn SCVs, dude. It's insane. Which not only delays, of course, the tag and the Vulture Fall drop, which makes the Dragoons very strong, which we're gonna see in a while, but also it's just economic damage.
Ooh,
it's huge.
Man. These Zealots are so bulky. They're doing so much damage. Oh no! That is not the trade you need.
You know, he doesn't need to be out there challenging this anymore because his factory already finished. You only need to do that to protect your SCV, but when you have the factory, just retreat. Don't take the fight. Wait for your Vulture, you know?
Sure. Yeah, the Vulture will just clean these Zealots up inevitably, eventually. But so yeah, more and more SCVs falling here, and we see at least the supplies are somewhat normalized, but I mean, Mars can't be too happy with how this one started out.
He does have an opportunity now, since there's only one gateway in the middle to counterattack with the Vultures and get into the main base of the Protoss. So that's one play he could go for. This Dragoon is going to try to scale, and it works. He could have run by there, but I understand that he didn't. He's trying to get his own expansion up, wants to get a bunker, and he needs these Vultures here for this game to not turn into complete and utter chaos.
Still, Dragoon took some serious damage to start, and actually, it might fall here. Yeah, it does.
So he does establish that. Of course, he saw that there was a second gateway in the main, and he didn't want to risk that the Dragoon wouldn't be in time. So he just went for the safe play instead. He's got the bunker at the front as well, and now that he has the bunker at the front, now he counterattacks. You know, now that it's safe to do so, or somewhat safe at least. Dragoon's gonna run by though, and I question this maneuver because SCVs dominate Dragoons in situations like these, but it does at least delay the expansion. And speaking of delaying expansion, we've got an eBay here in the natural of SuGo.
Yeah, I like this play from Mars. Like, that eBay block is so annoying for Protoss to handle.
Whoa, he got in somehow!
Oh, how did he get in?
Oh, because, dude, the Dragoons went down to snipe the eBay, and then he was like, now's my chance. He snuck in, getting several probes here.
Yeah, that was big. That was maybe the trade he needed to keep himself back in this one, honestly. Command center just about to complete soon here at the
Terran's
natural.
madly ahead right now. Look at the expansion timings. We don't even have a Nexus started.
Yeah, this is pretty big here for Mars. Really regrouping well, given that early Zealot harass here from SuGo.
Yeah, I really think that he should have sent one Dragoon for the eBay and stayed on the ramp with one, but he just didn't expect those two mad Vultures. This is an issue, though.
This is scary.
Okay, the SCV transference finally is going to save this, but I was scared for a moment there.
Yeah, that 4 Dragoon count is the magic number to 2-shot tanks, so things looking a little scary here for Mars. Here we go! SuGo jumping in.
Go for it. Looks like we don't have a full bunker either, so that's a bit of an issue for Terran. Gonna get 1 tank, 2 tanks, in exchange for only 1 Dragoon, so great trade for Protoss. And now, of course, he can continue to attack the bunker here.
Yep. Yeah, he's got that Dragoon range. There is another tank, fortunately, out already from Mars here, so should be able to stabilize, you know, take some advantage from this earlier natural command center, but SuGo looking very strong here in game number 2.
Gonna go for another tank snipe. But this time he's ready and ends up losing a Dragoon for it.
So good reaction time there from Mars. More goons running in.
But
here.
look how many SCVs he needs to just preemptively have here. It's causing a lot of economic damage and allowing Protoss to really come back economically.
Yeah, it absolutely is. At least Mars isn't being greedy with it, right? Keeping all of his SCVs on the mineral line. So, I mean, SuGo is kind of forcing this. But now Siege is done.
Yeah, at this point he should land the barracks and make a depot so he doesn't need anymore. Yeah, he's going for it. Good. Oh, it's a turret actually, okay. But, I mean, you want to have a wall so that Protoss can't just run in again, you know what I mean?
Yep,
so that's what a depot is good for. Which we don't quite have, but... okay, DET drop follow-up, it's looking like. Because we're seeing a Robo and Citadel very early.
At least we have the turrets, but what we don't have is mines. Mines pretty key at being able to defend DT drops or any kind of DT movement across the map as well.
These DETs will give him a lot of map control. It's like a lurker pre-Robo, because Terran doesn't have detection, so it's going to allow Protoss to really expand. And Protoss could start taking other main bases behind that. That is a way to win this. If you can take and hold both other mains, you will eventually win. Because there won't be enough bases for Terran.
Wow. This is a very quick Templar Archives. Man, I don't know. It's funny how these guys have just had such competitive matches to start. You know, like it's been just like non-stop aggression, and then it just evens out somehow.
Yeah, and SuGo is preemptively going for those expansions, knowing or. I mean, he doesn't know, but you can expect that Terran won't really have a lot of detection for a while, so you're safe to do this behind Dark Templar.
Yeah, so third factory being put down here from Mars. We do have plenty of turrets, at least. You know, turret inside the main should help in case of a potential DT drop, which we're likely to see here. SuGo also still being allowed to produce from that forward gateway in the center of the map since the start of this game. So
these vultures, though, could be an issue for these sneaky expansions. Like, he could catch a probe transference, because we don't have that many units for Protoss. And we don't have that many observers either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just now, the first observer out on the map here for SuGo. And I don't even know if he knows there's vultures out on the map.
I'm seeing like a lot of potential. Okay, obviously, there's no way for Mars to know this, but if he just went in right now with his vultures, dude, I mean, okay, he's gonna go for it now. He's gonna check out the vibe.
He's doing it. Oh man, he gets a couple more probes here. Every probe being pulled pretty much off the line here. More and more vultures falling down, but actually a very nice probe drill there.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
it's because he's dealing with the drop at the same time. That's why he wasn't microing the vultures as hard as maybe you would have expected, but. This is annoying, but he can lift that. There is not, indeed. He doesn't have any comsats yet, so we might actually see a vessel to deal with this, because he's going for like fast starport, fast upgrades.
But actually, 2 comsats dropping down immediately. Still, there's nothing to shoot this shuttle.
He's not watching. He's not. Okay, now there is a micro technique where you diffuse mines. He's trying to go for it right now, and you don't take any damage on the unit because of the delayed damage. If he can do that. I mean, forcing a liftoff on this factory is huge, because it's really delaying. We can actually see that the Mars is... Oh! Careful.
Close. Yeah, I feel like
mine drive?
would be able to do it here. Oh, it was a big mine drive, but actually, only the DT dies. And there's that Wraith you were talking about for the Apocalypse game. Does shoot the shuttle down. Man, Mars is hanging in here, and he's doing a very good job of it.
Yeah, forcing the factory to lift off was huge. It cost Mars to float money, because he couldn't make units. But then he overstayed and lost all the stuff. And Protoss' third base is pretty pushable, guys. I mean, it's pretty close to Terran.
I don't know if Terrans even recognize it. That's going to be the first kind of key. But yeah, it's definitely a big issue with expanding towards your Terran opponent. You don't... At least Terran won't expect it. But man, you
oh, look at this ambush.
Makes it vulnerable. Ooh.
Oh, I was expecting more, but we got a lot of lucky misses there, I guess. Orange Jesus was not in favor of Terran that day.
And 2 Dragoons still taking a little bit of damage here before Vultures are forced to retreat. Oh, maybe not. And it looks like Mars going to take the high ground third at the 9 o'clock position.
Yeah, he's really coming back now.
Yeah, he is. Oh, I like this expansion from SuGo top left, just as least expected as possible, right? You want to start taking Terran's side of the map as soon as you can.
It's good if you can do it. At this point, it's a little bit of a desperation move because he doesn't have the map control behind it to really make this legitimate, you know? Like, if he had 12 more Dragoons in front of that base, yeah, I would be afraid of it. As it is now, it's good if it works, but if it doesn't, and some vultures sniff it out, it's actually a huge deal.
Yeah, speaking of sniffing out, that 6 o'clock location was finally scouted here from Mars, so he knows that SuGo has a very vulnerable base not that far away. I mean, maybe if Mars just waits for that 2-1 timing, you know, this could be really rough for SuGo to try to hold at this point.
Okay, we have a dropship here. Dropships are amazing at stopping expos like this. Like one tank, vultures on the ground, mine up the ramp, you know. But will he find it? If he doesn't find it and it gets fortified with Templar and cannons later, that's going to be a massive issue. This is the time when it's weak. This is when he needs to find it and stamp it out before it grows out of control.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he can do that, though, he's pretty ahead right now.
Just doesn't look like he's able to do that, though. I mean, it is a unique base, right? It is probably one of the last bases you'd ever scout, given knowing the location of your opponent.
Okay.
Dropship at least gets scouted here from SuGo.
Oh, but the vultures are not allowed to join up with the army, which means no mines on the ramp, so he cannot actually do that thing where you have tanks on the ramp and you get a cost-effective fight. He scouts it, though,
he saw it.
He can't do this without support, though. You need vultures on the ground, mining up the choke point for this to work. So he should actually not be going for this. He needs to... Okay, catching the probes, not really getting any value out of it, though.
That's
overstaying is welcome here.
Oh, man, that Dragoon could have run under the tanks.
If
oh,
he
he's
had
gonna
the
get the probes,
here,
though.
Yeah, he could if he's looking. Okay, I don't think he is. Alright, so... You know, you can't do this with tanks alone. If you have vultures on the ground too, you get madly cost effective. It's actually worth it even if Protoss responds to you because... Oh, but this is what he's going for. He's pulling the Protoss out of position while he does this. If he can fortify this position and force Protoss to run into mines down here, then it could all be worth it.
I feel like we knew it. Still, though, this is going to be the point in the game. Like, this is a big Protoss force. I don't see a whole lot of buffer for these tanks.
Yeah, he didn't place the mines. He needed to fortify the position. He was allowed to walk here, which is good. But if you don't put the mines up, then it's like, you know.
Does have a bunker, I like that. And yeah, here comes the Protoss slamming into the backside of these siege tanks. Vultures and tanks rallying for support, but it's... I don't know, it's actually pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close, and I think maybe because of the bunker, Terran barely holds. That's what it's looking like. Bunker's huge right here. No,
yeah, the
Protoss
bunker
breaks
was pretty big. Protoss
He needed the
barely
mines,
breaks.
dude. If you fight without mines, it's like fighting without Storm. It's like not using Storm on your Templar, you know? It's like not using Radiating Grid. You need to spend every single mine. It's so important.
Yeah, it really is, vOddy. Man, with that, Mars barely... going to be broken here, and that means SuGo hangs on to 6 o'clock, which we all know is such a vulnerable base in these positions.
It was actually a good play, you know. Doing the drop so that Protoss walks there, so that you can maneuver to the bottom freely. It would have been better if he had like faked the drop and then pulled out at the last second, but even losing the 2 tanks, even that was good. But then you have to fortify the position you're allowed to walk to. That's what makes it strong.
Seems like SuGo's realizing he's in a pretty strong spot here. We're seeing the Arbiter Tribunal going down. Looks like he's jockeying to take the expansion top left. Meanwhile, Mars trying to just get some presence on the map with a little squad of vultures here. Scouting around, placing some mines, forcing SuGo to react a bit. We do have a fourth command center.
Yeah, he's going for a 4th, and it is still 4 bases versus 3, which is still playable for Terran. So it's not over yet. If he plays perfectly from now on, he can still win this game. Even having a vessel before the first Arbiter, which is pretty nice.
So one thing I want to say about this map, given that it's retro and there's not a ton of bases, we see that Mars has made that 4th command center, right? Where the hell is that gonna go? Is he gonna
Yeah.
take top left? Like, is he,
Yeah, I know.
is he gonna retake SuGo's base? Like, SuGo has done this thing where he's kind of like, he's trapped the Terran in on both sides with bases that are taken.
He can't go anywhere. There's no expansion to take right now. I know, it's insane. He needs to destroy the expansion, so he needs to fight his way to his base right now.
For sure. I can't even think of another game where I've seen something like this in a while. Oh, man.
Okay, and the
Yeah,
main
main
for
is
Terran mining
mined
out
out,
now,
so
so
we're
it's a
showing.
2-base Terran at this point versus presumably a 3-base Protoss. Right now he does have some mines, so this could be a good fight, possibly.
I think SuGo knows he has this. He's maybe getting a little greedy going in too early because he had so many more units right behind this. Actually, yeah, he did. And Mars easily
He's
defeated
scared
that.
because he's afraid of his expansions. He wants to keep that alive. So that's why he went in, but you still gotta keep your cool, you know, you gotta wait for all your units.
Yeah. And with that, that might trigger Mars to continue moving top
So the
left
obvious response now is the counterattack on Protoss, which SuGo is going for, but is Mars ready? Does he have siege tanks and mines at his natural? Let's find out. Yeah, he's
mines
kind of
being
ready.
So key.
That's
5
okay.
tanks. That's scary. There's a bunker there. And yep, he's spreading everything out, placing additional mines. I don't think SuGo could break that really.
He can't. The choke is too small. So now we have a Terran.
he's
He's gonna
going,
try. Oh, but this is great for Terran. Look at how cost effective this is. Well, I mean, okay, no. I didn't see the gap at the top. I didn't see that.
But
So,
still, Mars retreating back to help defend this. This could be the rally he needs to just smash this force from SuGo. We'll see.
This is like, we've got a tank at the high ground, so this is still okay for Terran. He needs to, okay. I think he still has units at the top, so he can still take the natural, basically, of the main. Yeah, he still has units there. Very nice. So he held it. He's
gonna need some turrets, and he's gonna need to wall that base in. I mean, we're seeing Mars with the supply lead for the first time in this game. This is crazy.
Yeah, he's playing pretty well now. He's leaving a good amount of units back. The high ground, too, you want to keep exactly that position, right? Because you can actually shoot at the bridge from the high ground. And then you mine up the choke, and you send everything else up here right now.
Yeah, I mean, that choke on this map, especially for Terran, with that high ground, it is just so tough to break. There's like a small bridge you have to break across for Protoss. Like, there's no way that natural Mars is going to get broken.
Yeah, so establishing a new base now, and he's really threatening the top left as well, because we don't actually have Storm. Usually the way to keep those bases is like Storm and cannons at the ramp, but we don't even have that, so yeah, Mars is coming back in this game. Impressive.
Yeah, now already even mining that top left natural expansion. 6 o'clock starting to wear down and mine out even for SuGo, so the onus is really on SuGo to get some other bases established, especially if top left is, you know, could possibly be taken out here.
Yeah, and you might be thinking like, okay, let's go for a recall on the main to come back, but even that is not that convincing because remember he's got those tanks in the main overlooking the bridge.
Ooh, and a Wraith and a Vessel. He's starting to set up and prepare for it.
So we got this Arbiter sharking around, but Mars seems to be expecting this, which is good game sense. He's hunting it with the Vessel. Even sending units, and look at how he's like mega ready.
Yeah, wow, he barely
like,
got
he
that.
EMPs it, and he's got units in the main. He's like overkilling it right now.
Yeah, he definitely is. Meanwhile, we're not really seeing any pressure into the main top left. I'm kind of surprised by that. Even a couple siege tanks butted up against the wall, you know, starting to siege down those cannons, just applying some kind of pressure there would be nice. There are 4 gateways and tons of probes, obviously, top left, so...
Yeah, it looks like he's content to just defend the base. He's got ramp phobia, which is understandable, to be fair.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. 2 Vultures denying the Expo. Great play.
Mid-right, now up and running. SuGo just needs to get some probes transferred there, and that'll be a whole new base for him. SuGo still hanging on to top left for now. We're seeing that Arbiter count grow.
Yeah, so recalls are still a possibility, I suppose, but I mean, where do you recall? You gotta recall like, okay, here we go.
No,
Actually, I don't know about this.
You do it, man. There's no way. It's just
look at that
the
zone
worst
EMP.
place you could ever engage. That was never gonna work in a million years. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I think a better play would have been to walk towards the left middle base, you know, because that doesn't have that much. You clear out the minefield, and you either get into the base and take it out, or even if you don't, at least you force Terran to move around and you create opportunities, because he's got to follow you all the time, and then eventually you find a weakness, you know, maybe like a recall or an ambush on the army.
I think like a small force clearing out top right to take additional bases. As you said, killing out those mines towards like the middle or top left. Just any kind of constant poke pressure.
Exactly. Non-stop maneuvering until you find a weakness, basically. Force Terran to move.
Maybe, he could have maybe recalled mid-left or maybe even the top base from Terran, possibly. But yeah, that is a mistake for sure. Here we go.
We do have the push that you were talking about finally coming into play.
Yeah. Oh, no obs! No obs!
Dude, he doesn't have an observer!
Oh, no.
He doesn't have an observer! What?
Oh, yikes. These are going to be some big mine connects before the engagement. EMP going down, but actually a very nice stasis on the remaining tanks. And what? I thought this was looking terrible for SuGo, but actually, he may end up overrunning top left here for Mars.
Yeah, Mars over-defended the tiny choke point. You don't need it that much. He actually overkilled it down there for too long, and that's why this has been allowed to take place. So this is what I was talking about, you know, find the weak spot, maneuver non-stop. And he found the weak spot. A little bit lucky because he didn't actually see it since he didn't have an observer, but a better gamble to go for sure than going for the choke. So gonna take this base out now.
Yeah, I mean, he can't take this base out. If he takes this base out, this is it for Mars. It's do or die time. So tanks coming in here. It looks like SuGo trying to reposition his units. Stasis starting to pop off from these remaining siege tanks. But man, this was a big upset here. And actually, Mars forced to GG. So, wow. Very, very well done there from SuGo. Once again, just pulling a victory out of the ashes there. Because Mars was looking so solid.
Yeah, he actually he has like a good understanding of some concepts that are important to Terran. So if he practices that style and just fixes like it's a hard game basically. He doesn't have the fundamentals to keep up later, but like he's got some pretty deep understanding of some very important concepts. So I think he could get pretty sick actually. Like it's like, okay, you don't want to see a guy who like has the mechanics but doesn't know what he's doing, but is stupid. This guy is like pretty smart but just can't keep up, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. For sure,
we
man.
Can fix that with practice.
Yeah, with just like a few little tweaks, man, he could be ready to take out BSL17 for sure. But yeah, as is, Mars going to end up falling in that series to SuGo. Which means SuGo will move on to our final remaining match of the day here. It's going to be SuGo facing off against Julia. Map number 1 being that Circuit Breakers, that classic map, man. So I guarantee this is going to be a nail-biter. But yeah, folks, before we jump to that, let's go to our final break of the series today. We will be back in just a few minutes with that matchup.
Alright, welcome back to BSL Group E. It's going to be the final match to decide who gets out of this group between SuGo and Julian. And the map's going to be Circuit Breaker, funnily enough, so this is a blast from the past.
Yeah, absolutely a blast from the past, man. vOddy, as we mentioned, Circuit Breaker is such a classic map. You know, a really favorite, I would say, for Zerg versus Protoss in this matchup. Anytime you can pick a map where Protoss is kind of limited on that third gas, that means less Storm, that means less Corsairs, that means less Archons. So, yeah, I gotta say, like, a great map to kind of start this series off. But obviously, you know, SuGo is someone who at least has shown that they lean towards Zealot, leg Zealot pressure to begin with, so I would expect to see a lot of Zealots being made from him early to kind of kick this one off. But yeah, this is going to be an amazing match here.
Yeah, I don't know, as soon as the players are ready, we'll go into it, but let's talk about the map until then a little bit. So you mentioned it used to be a little bit Zerg favored in ZVP, so it was like consistently at like 55% or more ZVP. Now, the thing is, these days, a lot of Zergs like to take a close third. And if you take your close mineral only third, it's not that bad for Protoss, right? It's really only good for Zerg, racially, if you take the other natural, which most people don't like doing these days. So, could be different in today's metagame, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It could be a little different. You know, it's still a classic map that everyone's played a billion games on. I think lurkers are, lurker contains can be quite strong on this map. Fast 2-base muta, close positions, vertical positions, ZVP can be quite strong to handle. So there's a lot of threats here, available as options to both of these players going into this match. With this, both of our players are ready, folks. So let's get into Julia versus SuGo, game 1 on Circuit Breakers.
And we got Julie at the top right of Circuit Breaker here. I mean, bottom right, as the blue Zerg.
And spawning top right as the red Protoss, it is SuGo.
And all the talk we had about the modern metagame and so on probably doesn't matter because this is Julia playing right here. And we're about to see Julia's wonky ZVP. Same against Terran, he really has his own style against Protoss. Tries to be very tricky.
When I
does
think
a lot
Julia,
of similar stuff, actually.
I think like Ling run-bys, right, off of 9 pool. I think Lurker drops, obviously.
Yeah.
Guardians, too. This is a great map for Guardians.
It is, actually. It's actually really good against Terran and Protoss.
Yeah, so Julia, has his own tricks of the trade that he has very much been showing so far in both the series he's played.
Indeed. So we have what looks like a Forge expansion, standard scanning with the probe, and was that an overpool? Yeah, overpool from Zerg, which is very standard build order against Protoss. Yeah,
super standard. In fact, I think it's exactly what you'd want to see going up against a Forge expand. So likely he's just going to make a couple Zerglings to start off with, take advantage of that early eco, and we should be seeing a expansion.
And he's also drone scouting, is what it looks like, because he's sending 2 drones. Now, if you drone scout a Forge expand, here's the thing: like against Overpool, a lot of Protoss is just going to get blocked.
Oh, it is! Ooh. Oh, that's
Yikes.
Really unfortunate here for Julia.
So
still, he gets the first shot off with the drone, so this is a little scary for SuGo.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Oh, yeah,
that's
not what you want to see.
So, okay, 2 cannons right off the bat. Now, a lot of Protosses try to make 1 cannon, but if you drone scout that, or rather, they try to do, like, Forge Nexus cannon. And if you drone scout that with Overpool, you can actually drone rush all in and win the game. But SuGo playing it safe now with the 2 cannons instead, leaving 2 links behind to chase the probe and sending 4 links forward to contain.
Yeah, he already sees the 2 cannons. He knows what's up. He's likely not gonna be able to get any kind of damage done here, so might as well focus more of that energy on trying to kill off that scouting probe.
Look at the top bottom. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if that's a drone bottom left here.
Exactly what I was about to say. So this is another thing Julia does sometimes. He expands against Protoss like it's a Zerg versus Terran. Now, it's actually viable. You can do that. Especially if you play with a lot of fast lurkers, which he is wont to do. Because you take the ramp. It's actually pretty okay. Very unusual, but it isn't bad.
It's also a third base that has a Vespian gas at it, which is obviously, pretty impactful on this map.
Yeah, I mean, most people would take the natural of that instead, and then take the fourth behind it, but taking the ramp isn't bad either.
It just goes with the mystique, right? If you're a player that's known for doing so many unusual things, then sometimes one small little deviation can throw someone off so hard, right? If you're SuGo and you can't find this third base, do you think it could be two-base lurker, right? Like from Julia? Yeah, like that sounds like something he would do. Like,
so then you take a weird third base they're not going to scout for, exactly.
Yep, exactly. So, just being unpredictable in itself leads to small advantages sometimes. But we
Looks
do
like
see a lair.
There. But yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, the way Julia plays, he really forces you to actually know what you're doing and not to just memorize a bunch of stuff brainlessly. Because no one else does this, and it's like a million weird things every game. You actually have to improvise and understand the game, to deal with stuff like this.
We are seeing SuGo still pulling 3 probes to try to block. It's so painful to do as a Protoss. You never, especially with, you want to take, after 2 cannons, you really want to take as much advantage of your eco as you can, but once again, Julia just...
Classic Julia, he always does that. Julia always blocks the ramp. It's always worth it for him to do, to keep the probe out. And I mean... At this point, it's like not that big of a deal because you see the lair anyway, but could be a Hydra in there, right? And there is, actually.
How weird. How weird. He waits till the very end of the lair to put the Hydra den down. Could this be Lurker? Sure, why not?
Yeah, this could really be Lurker drop for sure. Could even be Lurker slow drop, although we don't see Overlords in position for that, so maybe not.
Even this season of ASL, there was a Soul Key... I think it was a Soul Key game where he did a Lurker Ling timing on a natural, which used to be a little more standard, let's say back in like 2009, 10. It would be kind of interesting to see Julia go for some type of a timing here. Just eliminate the first 2 cannons in the wall.
Scouting the normal expo and forsaking the non-normal behind it.
Yeah. It's just so bizarre. Like, why would you do that?
Alright,
first Corsair out.
Coming out. Gonna scout a lack of a Spire. We don't actually have a Spire yet, so... I mean, how do you deal with this stuff? It's so weird to play against. Like, it's actually so uncomfortable. And if you haven't faced it before... Like, you gotta be very smart and very wise to beat it the first time. Honestly. To beat Julia the first time.
He sees slow Hydra. He sees the lair and the Hydra den. This has to trigger... Lurker, right?
Yeah, you gotta be suspicious of that for sure. And yeah, see, immediate robo.
And a third cannon. You know what? I think this is smart.
I'm worried that he's over-investing in defense. Like we saw his Terran opponents do that earlier in this group, where they would immediately make bunkers in their main. And then he just drones up and gets ahead, So that's a thing that could happen in this game. I'm worried about that.
Yeah, I mean... with good reason, honestly. There's a third base already up and running for Julia that SuGo doesn't even know about yet, and it's a gas base, so there is a big threat of just being out macroed here if you're SuGo.
SuGo hasn't even found a third base either. The Lurker will go down, by the way. So he could take a fourth and drone it up until an Observer's out, That's one potential play, although we do see an early Observer. We see, like, no units from SuGo. He's so scared. He's scared of so many different things. Like, could be a Lurker drop. I have a cannon in my main, I get an Observer. But he doesn't have any units. He's making cannons and defense everywhere. But he's in for a macro game, and he doesn't seem to know.
Yeah, very, very true. Honestly, he could be in trouble here. Lurker is scouted. Overlord Speed also scouted here from SuGo.
Robotic support bay is his choice here. So he wants to go for a Reaver drop. Or some sort of fast, maybe. Yeah, I have to imagine the Reaver drop with shuttle speed, yeah.
Which, good
or Storm
and bad.
Drop, maybe. I don't know. He's got a temper archives too.
I think it's going to be Reaver. I mean, Reaver is so great against early Lurker play. He's going to need to get the Observer to deal with... these early Lurkers anyway, and at least, the double-edged sword is, if you're going Corsair Reaver, drops should not be as big of an issue.
Right.
And we all know that Julia loves his drops. There we go. Bottom left scouted.
Okay, so now he knows. You know, one more reason I think that he's going Reaver is that it's to break out of the lurker containment that Julia did have set up. Yeah, getting one lurker there even, sniping it with... Okay, seeing the Spire is huge too. Actually seeing the timing of that.
Yeah, definitely pretty big. We're seeing Julia keeping on pace in supply here with SuGo. So, as you said, some of that early defense that SuGo may be committed to is not really giving him much of an advantage. As we can see, there's no fast drop planned here from Julia. He's been allowed to drone up that third base quite a bit, and maybe we see an Overlord drop going into the main, or maybe that's just an Overlord scout.
Could just be a scout, but it's looking like it. Yeah, Julia has really outmaneuvered and outplayed his opponent without even fighting yet.
SuGo with only 2 on gas in the main.
Oh no, that's always a big yikes. Hopefully he'll
Yeah.
notice that eventually. But yeah, like look, they haven't done anything, they've not fought at all almost. And Zerg is like even on control, you know, compared to Psy, and of course that's better because he's spread out over 3 bases, not 2. So it's just way better.
There's just been no pressure from SuGo. There's no better way to put it, but like,
Yeah.
there hasn't been any Zealot harass. There hasn't been. I mean, it was 2 cannons early. If Protoss wants to just sit back and give up the whole map, Zerg will gladly take that.
So the first shuttle's coming out, we also have Overlords with lurkers in him. So this could like threaten a counterattack and stuff and keep Protoss busy while Zerg expands. He's trying to do the thing he did against Terran where you throw so much stuff at the opponent he can't keep up when you expand. Or he could counter the probes, which he might actually no, good awareness there.
Yeah, very good awareness. Still very nice spine shots here. And actually, both lurkers do fall, so a little bit of a trade there for both players, I'd say.
Yeah, Hive even on the way, and the 4th.
Oh.
Just a DT, okay.
Yeah, DT going in here. We'll get scouted. Julia with really good Hydra lurker Overlord position there. There's no way that drop gets any damage done.
I think sneaking the DT into the main base would have been better. But now we kind of revealed that, so Julia should move like an Overlord and 4 Hydras to the base down here at the bottom left. That's a reaction, but would you see like a Zealot Dragoon hit squad? They want to snipe the Hatcher and get out, because they cannot fight the whole server.
This is likely Reaver too. I think this is probably going to be a Reaver timing, which means, yeah, I think he's got an advantage here against Julia. Julia going for a counter, though, to the natural. It's slow links, though.
Whoa, slow links. Okay, so he wants to counter the 3rd base mineral, which is a good play, but he's going to have to deal with this army. Alright, so the 4th base of Julia does go down. Huge lead, actually. Good that SuGo prevented that. Now, we have a very fast Hive on the way, but we already have Reavers. And that makes it kind of okay for us.
Oh, Observer goes down. But yeah,
side,
this has been alright up the ramp, other than losing the Observer. Oh no, you can't lose that. There we go. At least Reaver gets dropped. DT dropped into the main here. This is kind of looking like maybe a dead base for Julia.
Well, I mean, I think...
There's nothing to do with the lurkers, but there's no lurkers in the main.
I still think that the whole army of Julia is stronger than the whole army of SuGo, so this is a dead Protoss army now, but he's gonna get a few drones before getting some damage done. I think walking in there was... I think he should have taken the base and backed off. I don't think going into the main was worth it, unfortunately.
I think it is. I think he's getting great damage done.
He did kill several drones, actually.
Yeah, he did kill some drones. That's so many Hydras popping out here, though.
It's difficult to say. I mean, given the drone damage, like, that was okay, I suppose, but he did lose a lot for that. But it's creating an opportunity here, so we're gonna have to see what's in this shuttle. Because he distracted Julia for long enough, maybe this can pull something off. It's just a DP, okay.
Julia ready, though. 4 Hydras and an Overlord in position. So very well done from him to stave off this drop.
Oh, good. And the certain counterattack.
Yeah, great link counterattack here. Just trying to get all over this remaining Nexus and forces yet another
cancel.
I
think he's got a Dreamlock, by the way. Because he's got Hive. That's insane.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is really the kind of game that Julia
Guardians,
wanted.
Dude. Yeah, this is classic Julia, man. It's like, this is what he does, man. And here come the Guardians, too. Over the natural. And Protoss has, like, no size to him. 2 Corsairs. He's got no answer. Guardians are a great choice right now.
Yeah, Guardians definitely are a great choice. He's just been Protoss stuck on 2 gas. I don't even think he fixed the gas in the main too. I think that had a big part to do with this.
Yeah, maybe it did.
Yeah.
Also, you're not very wont to fix that when you're like dealing with all these fucking insane drops everywhere. Like, it's what Julian does, you know.
Yeah, definitely is.
So we're gonna see the Guardians come out soon, and I want to see like one Devourer just to utterly destroy those Corsairs. Devourer is really, really hard to counter Corsairs. They just can't shoot at all.
Yeah, it's probably likely just going to be the Guardians to start, though, just to try to prevent some of that additional mining. Still, SuGo, he's so Zealot heavy because of the lack of gas, and that's really playing into the favor of Julia's Lurker Ling heavy force here.
Ling's denying another expansion attempt.
So
he could even get the Burrow like Cross did. That'd be sick. Go on.
Yeah. SuGo moving on here, trying to deny a 3rd mineral only that's not there. There's just nothing he can attack into here.
Yeah, there isn't. I'm gonna try with the Reaver, but like, I don't know, man.
No, he got it. He got the Reaver. Oh man, that's big. This is
could Storm just pump up? Could he get a triple Storm?
Yeah, so, nice Storm.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Lurkers.
Do we have a connected Nidus? Because if so, we could take all the... Okay, no, he's gonna go for the flank instead. So Julia is sending everything now. Maybe cracking on the pressures, floating on money right now.
Man, I kind of can't believe this is even doing this much damage.
Yeah, I mean, the Lings do get on top of the Dragoons, so I think maybe he can grind this down with just continuous reinforcements, I hope.
Yeah, he'll need a lot more reinforcements. He'll need some good storms here.
Talking about how Julia can, I think, stop this with Ling swarms.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. We got more Zealots coming in. It's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely did a little more damage than I kind of expected it to, but still, I think Julia would gladly trade his force for this at the moment as he waits for Swarm and additional Zerglings to rally out from the left side. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of...
Do we have a Storm on that Templar? Because he could storm the drones.
Oh,
the Guardians kicked in. Yeah.
10 kills on one Guardian. Yeah, that's massive. I mean, that's game-winning damage for sure. Oh, still these, yeah. Final Dragoons get eaten up here. There's just nothing left to handle this Guardian at the natural.
So with that, cleaning up the attack finally with the crackling reinforcements, and the Scourge, by the way, we're just waiting for them to take out that Corsair. This has to be it, dude.
Yeah, these Zerglings going to surround the final remaining units here of SuGo. Corsair doing a good amount of damage until those Scourge wake up. And yeah, it's looking like SuGo about to go down here 0-1 in game 1.
Yeah, to a classic patented Julia playstyle.
Yep.
But there's not one thing he does. He does like 15 different things, so you can't just hard counter it. Like some people, you're like, okay, we're gonna see the carrier cheese. I know what to do. You know, that's not Julia. It's not that simple. It's really a test of a certain kind of skill. Like it's kind of like what Robert Fisher or Bobby Fischer, the chess player, he said that he didn't like how it was possible in normal chess to not really understand chess deeply, but just memorize stuff. And that's why he made his own variant of the game where that wasn't really possible. Well, Julia is like the anti-memorizer in this. You know, like you really need to understand what you're doing and have wisdom really in the game to be able to beat him.
Absolutely. We are seeing some mining going back up at that natural, though. Still no probes on that natural gas quite yet. Julia has fully reformed and stabilized natural, 3rd, 4th. He's just getting further and further ahead.
Yeah, in every way, he is ahead. Like, not only is he insanely, disgustingly ahead in technology, he's got cracklings, lurkers, defilers. For Protoss to deal with that, you want to have, like, you know, Reavers, maybe a Dark Archon, tons of Archons. What do we have? We got, like, 2 Archons and Dragoons, you know? Not only that, but it's also 4 base versus 3, and the third Protoss base is a mineral only.
Yep. So Protoss, I think, needs to recognize
And there's
can
nothing-
attack. Yeah,
there's
he's still
nothing
not playing
coming.
that guess. Yeah, it's painful. That's painful.
Swarm goes off, like it's a ZVT, just blocking him out. The Plague.
He can just do this infinitely
Nice.
now.
Yeah, just Plague harass the army.
Keep reconsume, plague, reconsume, plague.
Plague harassment is actually mega strong against Protoss.
Oh, it's so strong against Protoss, guaranteed.
I mean, it's already like really good against Terran, right? But
Yeah,
then it's
yeah.
like even better against Protoss.
And I don't know, maybe there's a way if SuGo just sits here and
Oh, another Julia drop.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, why not? Protoss is stretched so thin. Ooh,
Yep.
nice
Okay.
connections there. And
So
it's
we're
at
gonna
the
see a
perfect
swarm?
time.
Is he ready? Yep. There we go. Gets the swarm down. I want to see some units out of the Nidus though. Is that connected? I hope so. Even if it isn't though, he's got so many lurkers, man. Like, there's no way he's dying.
Yeah, more defilers coming in. There's just no vision now for SuGo.
Oh, there's not an observer even. Wow.
Yeah, so it's gonna definitely get pushed back here. Ooh, nice swarm.
It's 12 o'clock being taken by Protoss, but I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'll swarm in some units, and that's a dead base.
Yeah, the supplies are just so in favor of Julia. Even though he's losing some units here and there, just
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
from their engagements, it doesn't matter.
He
Every
can
single
literally
trade.
take every unit he has and aim move right now and win, if he wants to. But he usually doesn't do that when he's ahead. He just continues to torture his opponent. I don't know if he's a
Yeah,
sadist
yeah.
or what the deal is, but that's what he does.
So it's looking like, yeah, 12 o'clock under fire here. There are a couple DTs though, but that Nexus might fall anyway. Those are +3 melee cracklings.
Yeah, that's insane damage, dude. +3 cracklings.
So once again, gonna scout that there's no bases down here. This time wisely retreating instead of engaging, which I think is gonna be the right call. Ooh, Defiler
Plague
sharking
harassment?
around for a plague though.
Oh,
This
that could be
a big
such a
one.
huge plague, dude.
Yep, it's gonna get it.
I mean, it's good. You know, it's a decent plague.
It is for sure, worth it.
So when will Julia aim move with everything he has? Is the question. He's expanding to the top left. You see that? And the bottom right. I mean, right middle.
He's probably waiting for Ultra. I would guess is his next big leg
Yeah,
movement.
he's got an Ultra
timing.
Cavern there. Yeah.
So he'll probably likely get to max and then go.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. I think SuGo gonna try to take 12 o'clock, and maybe that's a way to hang into this one. I don't know if he needs what Archon, Maelstrom. He's so behind in his gas compared with a Zerg that's been on 4 gas for this long, taking a 5th, taking a 6th. Yep, there's the Ultra.
There are the Ultras. The
Mineral
beefy
only.
boys.
I mean, Julia could just command map presence right now if he wanted to. But I guess he just wants to
Yeah.
sit back at his chokes and trade efficiently. Not a bad
Yeah.
call.
I mean, I would aim move right now and win the game, but I don't know. That's just me. Plague.
Ooh,
Yep.
big plague too. He's just softening up this army every single time they engage. And yeah, it looks like
Another
SuGo
one.
coming in here. I mean, there's just so much Zerg. Another huge
Yeah,
plague
another
going down.
Yeah.
Plagues the Reaver as well. And Julia probably going to flank in here with some Ultras.
He could. I
Oh,
mean,
he
he's
gets
got
the
units sitting.
observers.
Yeah, he does. So now
Targeted
he's
the
safe
observers
with the lurkers.
specifically. Yep.
Plague harassment continues.
Yeah, SuGo can't attack here. There's no observer.
So this reminds me of like a tactic, like a meta tactic that some people advocate for, which is like if you're early on in a set and you're winning, you should drag the game out to tilt your opponent and exhaust him. Because we can
Yep,
see like
tilt and exhaust for sure.
you know, Julia sitting there chilling at 200 APM, SuGo fighting for his life at 350 APM,
like it can be pretty good if it's like game 1 or something in a set, you know.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of looks like Julia's about to end it though. Just gonna close this one out.
Yeah.
Ultra's jumping out onto the map here. There is a DT and no Overlord. One thing to note, but it's not gonna matter.
He could plague it. That's always
Yeah, he could just plague it, exactly. Morphing more lurkers in the center of the map here.
Or honestly, if he wants to send a statement, like it looks like he's trying to do, just win without detection. Just ignore the DT and kill everything. You know, because he's that far ahead, he can actually go for that.
Yeah, true. But why take a risk, man? You're in the BSL. You're trying to get out of group. You might as well just go for the win. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's what I thought. But if that's the plan, then why don't you just aim move and kill everything? So I don't know.
Here we go.
Get it.
Looks like Zerg starting to trickle in here. Big storm though, going down. But yeah, this Ultra Lurker going to be quite difficult for SuGo to close out. And yeah, GG is called there from SuGo, and game number 1 going to Julia on Circuit Breakers. So wow, very impressive, play there. I really like I think the Guardian timing is really what it felt like kind of won it for him. That got so many probe kills. But even prior to that, he was in a really good position with that sneaky third base, and I guess just kind of the opener lurker
the Julia
first.
shenanigans that people can't keep up with.
Yeah,
they either under defend or over defend usually. I mean, we haven't seen anyone deal with it at this point. Like, we haven't seen a single player deal with this tricky stuff well so far.
Yeah, we haven't, and even. I mean, ZVZ is just about the only forced standard matchup, so we didn't really get to see too much craziness in that match in particular, which is shows why cRoSs is so strong at that matchup. But yeah, SuGo's gonna need to definitely make some adjustments to try to close or get himself back into this series for sure. So I wonder what kind of map Julia might ban, especially since I think SuGo showed and picked, Polypoid in game number 2 versus cRoSs, so showing kind of an indicator of what his preference might be. But yeah, we'll have to see what map is picked here for game number 2.
I'm really surprised at this choice.
Dark Origin. Wow, again, got to see quite a bit of ZVP on this map, so should be a lot of fun, folks. With that, both of our players are ready to go. So let's get into game number 2 of Julia versus SuGo.
So Julia has spawned at the top left as the red Zerg here on Dark Origin.
And SuGo spawning bottom right as the blue Protoss.
So, this was SuGo's map choice, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it's like Julia gets a ban, and then, yeah, it would be SuGo's map choice.
So, it's strange to me that he
banned Invader.
Yeah, he banned Invader. Okay, so Invader was banned, and then SuGo did choose this. Okay, I'm a little surprised that SuGo would pick this map against Julia, because, I mean, you got to stack the buildings in the back, like, he could mine it out, he could take it down with lurkers. Seems like a good Julia map.
It does seem like a good Julia map for the same reasons, like a hidden base too, right? Like, what if Julia took bottom left as his third, and mined out the minerals or did something kind of crazy like that? It seems like a Julia kind of map, so I too am a little shocked that this is what ended up being picked, but looks like it's going to be an overpool opener here from Julia. Pretty middle of the road, as we've said before, like safe, standard. SuGo, looking like this is going to be a Forge expand where 11 supply and a probe is making its way to his natural. So probably going to be a Forge followed by a cannon. I know that everyone would say no against this, but I'd love to just see one cannon,
Yeah, one cannon is really, actually, conventionally considered correct now. The only way that you can punish that in this situation is if you drone scout it fast enough to see it's happening from an overpool, that is, and then you pull every single drone and you mineral walk and you take out the cannon. if they go for Forge Nexus Cannon, you can do that and win the game.
Okay.
And he's doing it. Like, a lot of people like to go Forge Nexus Cannon against Overpool like this.
Yeah.
But Julie has not drone scouted in time, so I don't think we're gonna see that. And I don't think he would do it anyway. Most people don't do it. It's like a bit of a secret thing where it always works, literally. Like, I've beaten insane players doing it, trust me, but most people don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. But that being said, there wasn't 6 lings immediately, so likely not going to be able to kind of counter this at all. Cannon is on just about to complete here, so even if that one Zergling tried to run by, SuGo should be fine. SuGo doing a wise job trying to keep that probe alive in the main here to see what gas timings end up being.
Yeah.
And now, vOddy, we get to play the fun game where let's figure out where Julia takes the third base.
Indeed. Now, I would even have been in favor of sending a second probe mineral walked into the main, maybe, if you're not going to keep your first. But he's in the dark now, so...
Of SuGo, by the way.
Looks
By
like
Julia.
it's the sneaky base again here. It's
Yeah,
not even
Julia-
that sneaky, though, because it's kind of defensible, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, Julia taking the extractor in the main here of SuGo. That is definitely some unique Julia shenanigans here.
Yeah, classic.
Link's trying to walk by. Oh my gosh,
Good
look at
micro.
that control. That was insane control there from SuGo.
So we're gonna have only, what, 1 Link get in? He got some probes, though, so it was... But yeah, good micro, I agree, from SuGo for sure.
Yeah, that was some very good control, and I think worth it. Trading, you know, a couple probes for that many lings at this point.
It's worth it if you have a Zealot follow-up, because then you can capitalize. So if he... But, here's the thing. If you follow up with Zealots, you can't take out the gas in your main, so that's a bit of an issue, right?
Yeah, very true, very true. But still worth it in a lot of cases. Yeah. But Julia is starting to build that drone count up in the main and the natural. Obviously, we know that third base just about to hatch at the bottom side of the map as well. Nice surround there from
You know what he
SuGo.
could have done, actually? SuGo, there's
What?
like a thing where you go 2 gate after expanding, which would have been pretty sweet right now, because, you know, you kill a bunch of links, so your advantage is in army, right? You can't take a fast gas, so, you know, what are you gonna do? I think a 2 gate Zealot follow-up, since it's already a good builder normally anyway, would have been good in this case. But we're gonna have this one Zealot come in here and scout, and gonna be met with no resistance so far.
Yeah, he needed to get on that mineral line. I'm kind of surprised he didn't. Does get some good shots off on these lings though. One ling
Yeah,
going
even
down.
kills one. And this is huge, scouting the Hydra then. Massive.
Yeah, scouting this Hydrogen is big. Now SuGo should realize all he needs to do is build some, you know, cannons, and he should be able to survive at the natural here.
Dude, look at the lost mining time on these probes. Trying to take out the extractor. Like, that's actually madly valuable for Julia.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Oh, look, he's mining it
Julia
out.
mining.
That's why he took the base, dude. So he can mine out the mineral and then sneak in with units. So,
That's so funny.
okay, here's the thing. I think the plan is you mass Hydra, so he makes cannons on the front. Then you just walk in the back and win the game.
Yep. That's so funny to me. Wow, what a play. I've not seen this.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And I mean, only 32 minerals remaining, so this is going to be very well timed. By the time the Hydras get there, they should just be able to walk right inside the main, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Wow, that's
SuGo's
nice.
still distracted with this gas at the natural. Oh, Zealot sees it, though!
Whoa, okay. Alright, so he now knows. Well, I don't know if he knows, but like, yeah, he knows, I guess. He sees it. But what do you do about it? You gotta make cannons in 2 spots. It's too expensive. Zerg can
You
just
need
play
cannons
macro
on
from
your
there.
ramp in the main.
Yeah.
You definitely need cannons in the main. And he knows because he sees a Zealot.
Also,
He's sending a Zealot from bottom left.
Can you reach the assimilator with Hydras from below?
You might be able to.
That means
It
you need
looks like
cannons
you
there
can.
too. So, that's a yikes.
Wow.
The Hydra police is here to clean up. And yeah, I don't see cannons at the ramp, so that might be a dead Protoss. Although, do we have a DT on the way? Because we don't have overlord speed. No, we don't.
It doesn't look like it. He's got to bring everything into his main right now just to try to hold this. We're seeing Zealots at the natural ramp. He's got to expect this. But yeah, it looks like too many Hydras here from Julia. I don't know how these cannons will ever get up. Cannon was forced to cancel.
Yeah, and of course he doesn't have vision at the front, so it's a little bit difficult to push through. But even if this doesn't work, it's pretty good that he's causing all this damage. You know, I think he needs to push this though. I think he can make this work if he goes hard.
For sure. Oh, Hydra's getting lured into the cannons though, outside the natural, so a little bit of a win there for SuGo.
Yeah, there's something. Okay, he's bleeding Hydras here. I mean, okay. One thing that
this is almost a mistake of like Julia not trying to kill, right? Like, if he just went with this, I think SuGo was dead. But now that he's been given a little time, I mean, that was just bleeding Hydras and drones. And SuGo is kind of stabilizing, and now has a very quick entrance to go kill his Zerg's third.
Yeah, he is fortifying it though with Sunkens, Julia. That is. And he's making drone. Oh, one sunken only one. I thought he had two. Okay.
There's still a good amount here. I don't think that this zealot timing is going to be able to quite kill him.
Yeah, yeah, we got that sunken finishing now. So
could target some drones though. That would be big. I'd almost prefer the drone targeting.
Okay, so at this point, having lost all these zealots, maybe a frontal bust could work now because we don't have that many cannons at the front. You know.
I don't know, actually. I think that wasn't so bad for SuGo. He got a good amount of drones, felt like.
Yeah. Oh, we have a lair on the way, so that could be for lurkers, maybe? So, like, a lurker containment right now would be insane, obviously. He's got to be careful
might be
for...
able to kill the gas, Protoss's gas.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Set up lurkers down here. Yeah, you're right. That's a big deal, actually. That can definitely reach. And the Hydras can reach, too, even.
Wow.
So he doesn't even need to get up the ramp. He can just sit here.
That's a good amount of zealots though, and they have +1 now. So Julia could be overextending here a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little. I mean, with micro, this is a fine fight to take a Sturk, but he really didn't react fast enough.
It's so hard to micro over speed zealots with this. And
yeah,
there's gonna be 2 more traded Hydras here. Wow.
Okay, so wait until he gets a lurker though. Then it's gonna be different.
Yeah, very true. We do have Templar tech though now though. You know, whether that could be like a DT run by into the main, storm pressure, and yeah, we are gonna see storm pressure. He's gonna need those lurkers like now, because as soon as those Templars have a storm,
there we go. They're on the way.
Pro's in trouble here.
Also, another purpose to getting a lurker is that it lets you make a lot of drones. No, because he already has an observatory. Okay. So I don't know about this man. He needs to hold this ramp right here.
Protoss is supply blocked. He should be able to hold. Oh no!
What? He forgot Storm or something.
He forgot Storm.
Oh no, he forgot Storm. Ah, damn, that hurts.
Oh man, Lurker is coming in though. Gotta get at least a couple shots off on those, but yeah, this should force SuGo to retreat. And we don't quite have the observer yet either.
We do have an observatory though. Also, there's a shuttle on the way, I think. There's a blue dot under Julia's main. I'm wondering if that's a shot. No, it's just a shuttle. Okay, I know he has a shuttle though, but okay. First observer's out. Shuttle's just camping there. Okay, so this is gonna be like a good two lurker pickup here for SuGo, and then maybe he could continue into the bottom left base. I don't know. Not sure how much
if Zerg doesn't react in time, possibly. Overlord's going to fall here too. And actually, we see a scramble from Julia pulling all the drones off the line here. Julia doing a little bit of counter pressure at the front, but you know what? I feel like if SuGo just went, he might be able to just kill this off. Still, I guess these free lurkers are enticing given the state of this game.
Yeah, SuGo really... Okay, if he gets enough Sunkens at the bottom left, it's basically safe forever. And he's not quite there, but he's getting there right now. Although it is vulnerable from the top, I gotta say. But SuGo, I don't know, man, he's pretty ahead right now. He could actually double expand because he's got so many more units than Zerg.
His units are all trapped by a Dragoon.
Yeah, he forgot to hotkey that. That's a... There we go, he noticed, okay.
Yeah, SuGo gotta get another base, gotta get out on the map. Unfortunately, I think he's just allowed a little too much time here for Julia to get the necessary static defense he needs to hold this off.
And we have a 3-base hive, by the way, from Julia. That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure about that. I mean, if SuGo realizes what's going on, double expands, gets Reavers, takes, you know, the top right
whole
base.
Position.
Oh my days, that could be huge.
Yeah, that could be massive, for sure.
Yeah, that could actually be insane.
Oh,
he's sneaking in again with the lurker.
I was waiting for this, yeah. See, this is that death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh wait, can you actually reach the probes? No.
I guess not, but you can hit the assimilator at least. Oh, this could be a dead base though. I mean, there's not a...
Yeah, I don't know, man. We don't really have
We'll
the Great
see.
Wall of Sunkens here.
We do have Scourge though, for these observers.
Okay, only gets one. Rhoda's getting in here.
Oh,
I think he's got enough.
Or...
Dude, don't lose the observer. No!
He did lose
Okay,
the
he lost
observer.
it, but it might be okay. Stalling the drones, so yeah, he's already doing enough damage, I think. GG.
GG is called there. So, wow. Shocker. That was a quick turn of events because I
Yeah.
thought Julia was still in it for a bit. But
Yeah, he needed to either like really maneuver, like force cannons at the back, then kill the front, or just force cannons everywhere to be ahead and then make drones. But he played too middle of the road. He needed to pick one or the other. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Harder.
Still, I mean, kind of getting to see some unique plays. It was nice seeing him, you know, take that third base, being able to mine out that mineral, you know, to put 973 pressure directly into the main of SuGo. So,
Yeah.
get to see some pretty cool stuff. And if, you know, that was obviously SuGo's map choice. So Julia still probably has some tricks ready to throw out and spring on SuGo here. So
Yeah, so he gets to choose the map, and that's a bit scary when Julia gets to choose map. You don't want to be in that situation. One last thing about
definitely
the
not.
previous game, though. If he had made one adjustment, he would have won the game. If he had immediately, upon getting the bottom right left base, made a slow overlord and put it on the ramp, he would have won the game. Because then he would have been able to shoot the zealots from below, you know?
Oh, you're right.
So when there were no cannons right there, that would have been it.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little pickup, but tough to do when there's Corsairs on the map and stuff too. Yeah. So it is all tied up, folks. It's down to this 1-1 SuGo Julia. Yeah, Zerg vs Protoss. This is going to be a pretty solid one to kind of close out the day. And remember, the winner of this will move on to the next round of BSL. So a lot on the line here between these two in a tied up series. And yeah, oh man, okay. It looks like it will be a pick of Polypoid here from SuGo. So already shown some pretty amazing play on this map so far today. But with that, folks, both of our players are ready. So let's get into the final game here. It's going to be Julia and SuGo on Polypoid.
Indeed, and we have Julia as the blue Zerg at the bottom right there. And I do believe that Julia actually picked this map, where SuGo got the beta map.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And spawning top left, it's going to be the red Protoss SuGo. So yeah, this is a Julia pick. You're very right. Man. Oh,
yeah, he banned Apocalypse actually, which, I mean, obviously, right, like that's a pretty good ban, I think, against Julia.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is not a shabby Julia map either, with insane amounts of expansions too, and expansions that, if they are allowed to get up, you can easily fortify with Sunken Spore Lurker. So, no probe scouts from SuGo might be a gateway expansion, or a 2-gate. We saw that before, actually, and it got him a pretty good start in the game against cRoSs, I seem to remember.
Yeah, it definitely did. Although we've pretty much only seen Overpool from Julia in this matchup, so I wonder if we're going to see more of the same. And yeah, it does look like an Overpool.
Yep.
And this is going to be a gateway from SuGo, so...
At least one gateway so far, yeah.
Yeah, probably just the one, I'd guess. It's really unusual to go 2-gate on Polypoid.
Sure. Well, I mean, 2-gate is a build order that is never going to be entirely obsolete, because Koreans keep greeding, not the drone scouting, only making 2-4-6 links, you know? And that's when the 2-gate comes in and punishes, which we actually saw in ASL in the finals. But if Protoss just plays that, if Zerg just plays safely instead, then it's actually kind of weak, yeah.
Yeah,
kinda weak.
absolutely. But we do see Zerg sending out first drone scout and taking natural expansion, so pretty standard here. I think because this is cross map, likely this 9 gate's not going to get a ton of damage done. I would actually even be surprised if SuGo opted to play passive with it and just take a faster Nexus.
Yeah,
but-
for sure. You know, a lot of ProLeague will make one Zealot, put it on the ramp, and make a Nexus. And that's a fine opening to go for.
But
he's going to go for it.
Yeah, he's going to move across the map here. First 2 lings are out. Probe Scout still inside the main here, trying to keep an
4
eye on
links.
that gas timing.
So he didn't make just a 2, which means he's got enough to stop the Zealot. 6 links, yeah, this is definitely enough. So SuGo is still not turning around with the Zealot, which suggests to me that he wants to put it, you know, to lie in wait somewhere, to send it in later to get some scouting done, and maybe a drone or 2.
Yeah, this first Zealot moving kind of to a unique spot here on the bottom side of the map.
He's gonna see the 3rd base if he goes for it, which is good.
I think he's just going to hide at that mineral only, it looks like. Ooh, 1 ling slipping by. Still no Nexus, by the way.
Oh, it doesn't get the pro blockage there. Nexus should be going down right now. Yeah, there we go. So the 1d8 expansion is on the way.
Zealot got scouted out in the center of the map, moving in towards the natural here, so likely to be caught.
Oh, so this Zealot is a pretty sneaky... Okay, we got more links in the base though. Scouting that is good. This is looking almost like a Ling all-in.
It is.
And he scouted those Lings coming out, so... We could see even a shield battery, perhaps?
Man, I mean, he just keeps letting these lings go by and doing some pretty significant damage. We're even seeing a shield battery. I'm a little shocked by that. We're not seeing Julian hit all of his Zerglings out of his natural. He knows there's a Zealot somewhere on the map here.
Yeah. Okay, 4th now got started, which is very late. So this shield battery, as I suspected we might see, is coming into play. And 1 Ling gets into the main. Not really a big deal, though, if you got the multitasking to deal with it. But these follow-up Lings, if they also get in, that could be an issue.
There's been quite a bit of probes killed. I want to say at least 3 probes so far, so that's one thing Julia has going for him. Still, this is actually a good amount of pressure. Oh man, another probe.
Yeah, and Julia's multitasking actually faltering a bit there, because while he's chasing a Zealot in the middle of the map, or whatever that was, his Lings ran into the Zealot squadron of SuGo, and he lost several of them. So that puts SuGo in a position now where he's ahead on Zealots. He can go forth with them and force more Lings to get further ahead economically, while teching himself, being ahead on tech. And if you get ahead enough on tech, you can get a Corsair or even a Scout to really close the game out against a Zerg like this.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing 1 cannon going down at the natural here. Oh man, Julia jumping on even more probes here. And he's really done
more
some
Lings
significant
died,
damage.
it looks like, in the middle of the map to these Zealots. So he's gone back to droning now, but it's quite late. He's got no lair on the way. We should see a Stargate any second now, and if the Stargate starts... Okay, a Hydra then, actually. There we go. Will he scout this, though? It's looking like a Zealot is making it into the main base of Julia.
So a lot of speedlings now. Still on the map here for Julia, but there is a wall, there is a cannon. Julia's killed quite a few probes to kind of start this one off,
There's
though.
the lair. Okay, the lair was not scouted, so SuGo only saw the Hydra then. But surely he's making a Corsair to continue scouting with, and he actually isn't making any cannons, so he seems to be pretty on top of things so far in this game.
I like the random Zealot scout top right here, just in case there's a hidden base.
Yeah, he's been having a lot of success with these hidden Zealots so far in this game, that's for sure.
Probe going to be picked off, going out towards the center of the map, and he's just trying to get some kind of idea. Is this an all-in here from Julia? Like, what's going on exactly? And, I mean, because it is Julia, it could be anything.
Yeah, for sure. And he hasn't scouted the lair, which is a little bit of a yikes. Or maybe he's got, because he's playing like he knows about it, so I might have missed that. But some sort of +1/+1 seems to be on the way. +1 ground at least on the way.
Second gas being taken at the natural here. Looks like Overlord going to be picked off inside the main.
Yeah, so I wonder if he's gonna actually make cRoSs, because he's been doing these like 2, 3, 4 Sairs only, which doesn't really have an impact. Then you're better off making only one for scouting if you're gonna make that view, I think. So I'm wondering if he's gonna actually make cRoSs and then go Overlord hunting, or if this is just a one cRoSs for scouting. One thing's for sure though, he's gonna go for +1. Okay, so we got the +1 air attack, I have to imagine that is. Unless it's like some mega fast Dragoon range or something. And if you're getting +1 air, you should get at least 8, 7 cRoSs.
I think it's Dragoon range, because we only see one Corsair. It would be really weird to get +1 with one Corsair.
Yeah,
Looks
making tons of Dragoons, it can be a good option against a style like Julius, because he plays with a lot of tech units, but not a lot of meat. And so, like lurkers, obviously, you know, fast lurkers lose to Dragoon Observer, right?
Yep, 8 gate Dragoon plus Observer is really good against it. So I wonder if this is going to be a little bit of a read here.
So we got
Lurkers,
some, yeah, lurkers, there we go. Fast lurkers again, very Julia style, possibly with drops later, right? And yeah, mass gateway with Robo, and then maybe even a Reaver, like a Dragoon Reaver Observer all in. Although that's not what he's doing, because he's got a Temple Archives. So I'm not sure.
probe count's kind of minimal at the natural here.
Yeah, he hasn't really been macroing that very well. I'm not sure why. But I agree, he should have more probes.
I think it's just the early harass kind of catching up with him. Julia is able to stick about even in supply, which is never a good sign here if you're a Protoss.
Yeah, for sure, that's a very weak sign. Yeah, if you're a Terran too, it's a weak sign. You want to be ahead of Zerg in supply, that's for sure. He's gonna scout this. I think he's seen the lurk reg, so he must know at this point the lurkers are out. And again, SuGo not really coming up with a good solution to the shenanigans of. Like for example, he went for the fast temper archives, couldn't use it, right? No value out of it whatsoever. Like he just doesn't have like. It's difficult to play against this because Julia seems to be all over the place. You don't really know what to do. You don't really know how to take the advantage and not just be stuck reacting all game. Now he's afraid of drops too. Like look at these cannons in the main, right?
Right.
He's just afraid of stuff.
Yeah, these cannons are going towards defending a main instead of taking a third. Feels like.
Yeah.
Where
right. Yeah.
if he was just at least out on the map right now, you know, and on that high ground, he could probably hold that mineral only.
Julia taking a fourth even at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he's defended. He's got lurkers, he's got Hydra at every base, plenty of Sunkens. There's really no opening for SuGo to take advantage of.
So SuGo is continuing to scout, but the thing is, Julia doesn't do like gimmicks that fall apart if you know about them. You know exactly what he's doing. You got perfect scouting, and you still can't deal with it because it's too complex. He's again outplaying SuGo without really fighting him. I mean, there was some fighting in the beginning, and I think SuGo actually did okay in the fights themselves. You had some wasted lings running into the Zealots and stuff, but you know, it's just the follow-up part. Julia just outplays his opponent here in this group, even without fighting.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. I mean, every second this goes on, that's a Zerg with a third gas that's, you know, slowly getting further and further ahead. I mean, I just don't know what SuGo's building towards right now. Is this
SuGo
a timing?
Still doesn't have probes in his natural. I think that's a weak saturation right there. It's looking like it could be a lot stronger.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Could use a few more probes at that natural for sure. He's got a... I mean, there's got to be some kind of a follow-up or a transition here. Is he looking to take a third base? Is he looking to take a third and a fourth? Or, you know, if this is a timing, I think he missed the window. You know.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we're gonna see like a hive. That would be pretty Julia style, I think, like 4-base hive, you know, 3-gas hive.
Yeah,
he
definitely.
hasn't done the drop. The fear of the drop has given him more than enough value that he doesn't even have the drop at this point. Like, you know.
Definitely. Corsair running away from a couple Scourge here.
Oh, wait, is he gonna catch that? No, almost. That was close. Zealot's running out, but Dark Archon. It's like, again, fear of the Mutalisk, but there are no Mutalisks. Fear of the drop, but there are no drops. He's just killing himself.
Yeah, he is. Ooh, ouch.
Gets a Templar even.
Almost kills 2 Templar in his obs, too. Yeah. It's just too much. There's no reason for Julia to attack.
There really isn't, yeah. I mean, skirmishing and harassing is okay, but like a full-on committed attack, hell no, no reason to. Like what I did right there with some links, that's good. He could even do more of that if he's got the APM for it, and he's playing at 300 right now, so... you know, like sniping a unit, running away, baiting a storm, and then maybe sniping the base even, stuff like that, is always good to do.
It's a lot of Dragoons flooding out from SuGo here, so that leads me to believe he's trying to look for some kind of a mid-game timing.
Yeah, and like expand behind it, stuff like that. But you really want to be ahead on Psy, you know, versus Control when you do that, and he's actually even right now, which is an issue for sure.
Yep.
There's nowhere really to get in here. Everywhere is so fortified. The best he could do is like storm the mineral only from the side. Julia continuing to harass the army, picking off some zealots here and there.
Yep, just trying to do a little bit of damage, trying to throw off SuGo, maybe get a free Templar if he can.
And the triple expanding, by the way, at the same time.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of bases and a lot more units here out of Julia.
Oh, nice cutting off of reinforcements, actually. That's pretty sweet.
And this is annoying. This is pulling SuGo back every single time he does this.
Yeah, while Julia expands. Probably taken to Hive, too, I gotta imagine. Yeah, actually has Hive even already. So, Adrenal Gland on the way, of course. Guardians, yeah, good choice. Because there is only one Corsair, so...
Yep, definitely a good call here. SuGo does have that Dark Archon, so maybe if he gets a pretty clutch Maelstrom off, he could take a good engagement or something. Yeah, Mineral Only is up and running. We're starting to see some probes transferred there. Yeah, I think if you're SuGo, he's got to realize he's just got to get a third or a fourth base up.
Yeah, he must.
He's going to need the gas. Like, just pull your whole army to your fourth, take your fourth, go from there. Or at least a big group of units.
Yeah, he must secure more gas. That's true.
Counter from Julia. Just there's no way he's ever going to let this base get up without some units.
Great base trade. You know, he's losing one base, Protoss is losing one base. Great trade for Zerg.
So this will go down, but still, SuGo is no closer to owning a third gas or a fourth base.
Indeed, and Julia was triple expanding, so that one base up there is a piss in the river. He does not care about that whatsoever. In fact, he's happy to trade it for this base right here that he took out. And the Nidus Canal now. Once you get that Nidus, you basically can't really attack the ramp there. If Julia is ready with lurkers on the ramp, it's almost impossible to break up against.
Which it looks like he is.
So, yeah, so he does have that connected now.
Into position. He might have to cancel that natural, but that's no big deal.
Indeed.
Still, SuGo no closer to having a fourth. Every second that this ticks away is just SuGo getting further and further behind. He's got to send a group of units to that fourth base, and he's just got to take it. Or
yeah, he's not going to be able to attack really anywhere. Yeah, he really needs to expand. I mean, this is really all snowballing from how... okay, so I'm going to try to go up the ramp here, which is... well, I mean, we're going to have to see some units come out of the Nidus here, actually.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna need to reinforce, but I mean, he's already got that Nidus in play. I think this is gonna be
there we go, units coming out, so it should be fine.
Pretty easy hold here. Yeah.
But yeah, SuGo, like, I mean, this is not unusual to him. This happens to a lot of people against Julian. He just couldn't deal with the opening. It was too tricky. It's like, oh, is there a drop coming? I gotta make cannons. Oh, is there this or that? People just cannot do the balancing act of keeping up with Julia's shenanigans early on. And so he fell further and further behind. Had to make a comeback, failed to make the comeback, as you were saying. And just look at this. This is such a desperation move.
Maelstrom going down on some of the Hydra. Oh, and finally we have the Swarm. There, I mean, that should signal it. There's no way SuGo is going to be able to break this.
Indeed.
And still no 4th base.
Yeah, not even a 3rd gas against a fully teched out Hive Zerg. We haven't seen any Guardians yet. That's of course a play he could go for over the natural whenever he feels like it.
Or even defensively, if he wants to just make a handful to hold his high ground or bottom left. It's not a bad play.
It's actually not bad, yeah. Like, if you don't put anything else under them so that they don't get stormed effectively, you can have a few Guardians, yeah.
Uh-oh, a few new units walking in here.
This is a mistake. Meanwhile, we got a desperate A move here. But the Lurker's under Swarm. We do have some Storm against it.
It's just not enough.
It's so fortified, man. It's like trenches or something. Like, you're not breaking that front line. You're just not.
SuGo, you know, also very heavy Dragoon, which is just not the play at this point.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any good feedback either on the fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, is this a drop? Yes, it is.
Oh man, what an annoying drop position too. And 4th base denied once again here.
Yeah. Just complete dominance here. Complete outplayage. Even like cutting off these units here, like the skirmishing too, harassing the army, picking off units. Even this, like, look, he can't get anything done. It's complete and utter destruction.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. He is crushing this game for sure. Look at the bank left here for Julia, and Lurker's continuing to do more and more.
Oh, that's another spot. You just moved it over there. Now you gotta go all the way around for the main to get over there. Have fun.
Yeah, it's very well played. We're seeing the patented Ultralisk Cavern going down inside the main as well here. And Lurker once again dropping in position to stop some more mining.
Yeah, now he moved over there. So see, Protoss walked all the way around and he's just like, whoop, picks it up, walks over there. Finally cleans it up. Yikes, dude.
Ooh,
Plague?
Is that a plague?
Yeah.
Yep, big plague. And that's not going to stop anytime soon.
No, that's infinite. Infinite plagues, infinite fun.
So Lurker does get removed from 12 o'clock at the 20-minute mark here. Finally, SuGo should be able to hold the base for a bit.
A war page. Nope. Okay, misses that. But this is still so cost effective. Look at this defense here. Sunken Spore Lurker. You know, so difficult to break.
Yeah, it definitely is.
He could... I'm surprised he's not fortifying that or reinforcing it with more units. But instead it's going to counterattack, which is also okay. You know, Swarm really wrecks cannons, obviously, so... Taking out... it's about to be the only base, because I'm imagining the natural is mining out soon. So if he base trades here and takes out, like, the main mining base of Protoss, that's got to be a coup de grace.
Yeah, it's got to be big. Seen a lot of Zerglings attack in here. Big plague going down on some Zealots. Dark Swarm as well, and a plague on that Nexus. So big damage being done here from Julia. And this mineral only is being Lurker dropped from behind as well. So all of the probes getting crushed here. And although the base will stand, it's just barely.
Yeah, another one of those counterattacks, and it'll go down for sure. Julian meanwhile expanding in the top and bottom left, of course.
Yep. I mean, just getting further and further ahead, really bolstering his economy. A few last couple Dragoons going down.
More harassment.
But yeah.
21 kills, by the way, as the observer points out.
Yeah, it's looking tough here, man.
Protoss ball moving to the bottom left, but Zerg could of course just counterattack easily, or could choose to send reinforcements through connected Nidus and defend this.
Might all be down to this here. We're seeing SuGo move in. Oh, nice feedback with the Dark Archon. But there's just so many Zerglings, so many Lurkers. This is obviously all held together with, you know, a Nidus bottom left as well for reinforcements. And Ultralist finally starting to join the fight.
GG.
And GG is called. So very
Classic
well done
Julia.
there. Yeah, classic Julia, man. Julia taking second place in the group over SuGo in a very close 2-1 series. So well done to him. He will be moving on to the next round of BSL to compete with everyone else who's qualified. So very well done. Yep. Man, those were some crazy games. Very back and forth. But at the end of the day, man, Julia's tried and true patented ZVP, ZVT were enough to get it done. So that was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I like the Bombastic games too. Actually, all of them. He had some really interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, he definitely did. Very close series, even if it was 0-2 against SuGo. You know, it just felt like he was fighting for it each and every single game. So well done to Mars, well done to SuGo. But today it's going to be cRoSs and Julia moving on to the round of 16 for BSL out of this Group E. So yeah, man, that was a fun group of series today, vOddy. It was cool casting with you, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, we're done today. We're gonna have more games later, of course. Gonna continue with the tournament, and I suppose I can mention that you know, if you want to support this endeavor, you can become a patron at patreon.com/bombastic, I believe it is.
Yep, patreon.com/bombastic. And yeah, we really, you know, appreciate each and every single one of you supporters keeping the BSL alive here. At the Bombastic General level, $100 a month, we have Star Lover and My Fleeting Dream. At the Bombastic Colonel level, $50 a month, we have Striker, Believe in Zero, Steve Schmidt. Thank you all for your contributions. At the Major Plus Plus level, $30 a month, we have Tim, Cause, 2Apocalypse, and Niantic. Thank you. And at the Major level, we have at $20 a month, Medinho, JC, Stephen Robinson, Mr. Cat, Suricata, me, Volton Bulai, On My Way, Gordon Bradley, KJ, Daniel Lopez, LML, and Quirk. So yeah, thank you each and every single person for all your contributions. It goes a long way in keeping the StarCraft scene alive and supporting Zero and everyone else here at the BSL. So yeah, thank you all. Thanks for tuning in. As vOddy said, we're going to have more StarCraft. Actually, tomorrow, I believe it's going to be Group F. It's going to be your boy Machine once again commentating with Raz tomorrow, I believe. So should be a fun group. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks again to vOddy for being my co-captain, holding it down here. Oh wow, we're getting a sneak peek at tomorrow's group. So it's going to be Zhao Shuai.
Oh, that's for the app, actually.
Yeah, Lancer X, Terror, and Striker. Yeah, I mean, we get to see pretty much every matchup here, and between some really strong players. Zhao
Yeah, those are
Shuai,
actually some pretty good players. I mean, Zhao Shuai
Yeah.
has beaten Korean, like people who show up on our Tosis cast, basically, right? Like, I'm not gonna name drop any individuals, but you know, he's really good. Terror, one of the best foreign talents, like, can beat Bonyth, can beat Dewalt, can beat Sziky, can't even beat Koreans, you know. Striker, quite a strong player overall. Could get out of the group for sure. Could beat Terror, you know. Lancer X used to be really good during the Sospa era. Quit the game, but apparently he's back now, so that's good to see.
Yeah, always good seeing players coming back to it. Striker, same thing. Took a break for a bit, but he's back at it. You know, Lancer X, a classic. Terror, former BSL champion, and Zhao Shuai, who has some of the best muted control I've seen to come out of China so far. So yeah, folks, Group F tomorrow. Make sure y'all tune in. But yeah, once again, thank you, vOddy. Always fun, man. I appreciate commentating with you. And thanks again to Zero for everything you do behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons and making the BSL happen.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Good games. And yeah, I'll see you later.
All right, see y'all tomorrow.